Hi people, 2 minutes, just bear with me. So I'm back again, but the reason I'm back this morning is because every time the charlatans and the sophists raise their ugly mush above the parapet, I'm going to throw fucking wet sponges at them. So I'm going to have a wee chat. I'm going to get through some of the illogical chaps who are involved amongst us and analyse what they're saying. Just to show that we're open and we're up for, any discussion with anybody. We don't shy away from anybody, and again, the people who are involved already know who the sophists and the liars and the charlatans are, but in the interest of fairness and for new people who are getting involved, we're just going to show that we are open to anybody. We will meet anything head on. We are actively looking for any academic, any so-called scientist, anybody at all who thinks they can provide proof that the Earth is a sphere. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about, the illogical red herrings of referencing the sky. I'm going to talk about, the app and its real purpose, which is really, for people to have the chance to log and capture, flaws with the claims from the mainstream that are made in regards to the luminaries. Again, none of us know what the luminaries are, so the app for me is purely for people to see the observations and to see the contradictions that are being pushed to people in regards to times and where they are. I'm aware that there's some sun tracking going on just now, which is fantastic. I know a lot of people's attention will be there. But again, I'm back this morning because you get up again to name dropping the sophists and their angles that they try and push. So I'm just going to meet them head on, offer them the opportunity to provide their fucking proof or shut their mouth. The more we do this, the more we're going to see how illogical and downright how they are liars, barefaced, dividing liars. Now, one of the videos I'm going to focus on is our little gingy ninja friend called Jed Skeptic Media, who has been active and prominent within this whole thing for the last year and a half. He's offered nothing but division, illogical lies, misrepresentation, slander. The guy is just a little fucking naff, and I am going to show him with intelligence how fucking stupid he is. He's been invited to appear here. He has been invited on numerous occasions. He has been invited, him and anybody else who would like to show up and have a real discussion on camera, offering their actual measurable proof for the shape of the Earth that we all share, and we get nothing. So, as I said before, I'm going to make it my focus to out these fucking clowns, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. All right. So activism on my part is, getting to the general public, the common man, and my other activism is also to highlight these sophists who are involved, and they should be highlighted. As I say, new people coming in may be affected by these fucking muppets. So I'm just going to make sure that I've addressed them. Give them the offer. Let's see your fucking proof. Right? They don't have proof. They don't even have a fucking basic understanding of logic. They don't have a basic understanding of what objective and subjective means. They are contradictory. They're just an absolute mess. So I'm going to get to it. I'm going to invite Gavin, anybody else who wants to join, obviously, if you think you can provide proof for a globe. And these characters, these accounts who spend most of their time on YouTube spamming, people who are questioning the shape of the Earth, why don't they go and get somebody who's savvy enough, that has a qualification, which they keep shouting about, and bring them forward to put us all right? It's funny why that doesn't happen, So, as I say, I realise people will be taken up with the sun tracking. We have a few people here. Night Angel, how are you doing? David Goddard, Digital Death, Troy, NSW, John Borg, Daveable, BKK Daveable, Fry Prezi, Steve H, Michael Harris, Andy Borthwick, Switcher Elf, JLo 1982, Steve H, Yorkshire Last Tracy. Lovely day in there in East Yorkshire. Well, it was lovely here this morning, but now we have the usual total blanket. Martins O'Brien, how the fuck are you? Keep the vids coming, mate. Yeah, I intend to, my man. That's exactly why I'm doing this. So, see, I'm just going to meet them every time head on. Dan Winfield, is Jed banned from here? I don't know. I don't think so. Anybody can send an email to nocurve@gmx.com, and they will be, gladly accepted in here to show us how illogical and fucking stupid they are. It's Flat Earth Truth. How you doing, man? Sam, I think, we need to get a wee chat with some of your observations, man. I don't see it being discussed enough, and I know that you're on it all the time, so we'll need to get to that. So anyway, I'm going to send this link. You have Gav's agreed to join me so that we can talk about the sophism and also a wee bit about this app again and just make it clear to people what the app is, what it's for, and why I don't benefit. This channel doesn't benefit from any monetary gain. It's never going to be about a monetary gain for me. So, where are we? So let's have a wee look. Again, directed this morning to name dropping and sophists. So, where are we here? I'm sure many people are aware, before I start playing this fucking illogical twat's video and analysing the pish that he spews, we'll have a wee look at Mr. Gertrude Perkins, the sock account who spams repeatedly all over, this subject. And again, this character comes in with an agenda, calling it a debate, this side against that side, as we'll quite clearly hear, the total confusion with these people about what objective and subjective means, and how the objective reality we share can only be discussed. It is not a debate. If somebody turns it into a debate or tries to, they're coming with an agenda. They have a premise, a preconceived notion that they're trying to push and that they are trying to defend. They will use sophist tactics and confirmation bias. Here, we don't employ any of that. Every one of us here believes we live in a globe. We analysed it with open honesty. We looked for actual measurable proof and we found nothing. So, Gertrude Perkins, mainstream science, he's quoting here. As I say to flat earthers, flat earth believers, this chap doesn't, offer what he means by flat earther. It's a generalisation. Just straight away, right off the bat, we're into illogical fucking nonsensical crap. Flat earth believers, I don't believe anything. Flat earth to me means the globe is a lie. It's an ongoing investigation. Fuds like this know that, but still blatantly try and misrepresent. If you're convinced of your scientific hypothesis argument, then put your evidence in writing. Seek publication in an August publication such as Nature, and also seek peer review from the worldwide scientific community, something that Dell will never do. Dell is here on the fucking in public, going to universities, asking everybody, addressing the general public, speaking to university students, trying to goad any professor, lecturer, so-called scientist to come forward. And they don't. If you're convinced of your scientific hypothesis argument, no, we're not convinced or offered any hypothesis other than let's look at the claim, which is a globe. Let's look at the fact there is absolutely zero measurable proof for it. And then you want me to put it in writing to the very fucking clowns, the very sophists who push and try and perpetuate their religious fucking crap being the globe. So this fucking muppet is just talking in absolute riddles. He doesn't have a fucking clue how logic works. He's an illogical rambling mess. Then we have ALK, another known sock account who is part of the same organised groups. Beyond the imaginary curve, you're a joke. You ban people who do challenge all your uninformed bollocks. No, we don't. Nobody's banned. The only reason you're banned is when you spam and can, repeatedly repeat your sophist crap. Any one of you is welcome to come in here. Any one of you is welcome to arrange your academic of your choice that we can film and have the discussion with. Anybody who thinks they can put this to bed, let's see them. Talk over the top of people who challenge your uninformed bollocks in your hangouts. No, I don't talk over the top of anybody. If you're referring to guys like Gem Panda, Jeremy, your Timmy Osmonds and the other fucking sophist wankers, then yes, they are, ill-mannered, illogical fucking dweebs who talk over the top of people and will be shut up, because I don't accept that. I don't accept people talking over the top at any time. Never take up anyone else in the chance of going on to their hangouts because you're too much of a coward to be in a situation where you can't have absolute control. No, not at all. I instigated the platform. I instigated the open invitation. Everybody knows that. I started it, and then you lot then tried to leech off it and claim that it's you that's done it. These are fucking muppets. Right? I'll meet any one of you in person. Any one of you. I'm not scared of fuck all. I have no beliefs to defend. No fucking religion. Nothing like that. I'm only interested in what's actually real. So, fuck up. Including Jed's. Well, Little Gingy Ninja has been repeatedly offered, but Little Gingy Ninja is a spineless moron. Little Gingy Ninja knows that he will be absolutely smashed if he comes here face to face with any one of us. That's why the Little Gingy Ninja doesn't appear. Right? Little Gingy Ninja will probably be listening, and Little Gingy Ninja is more than welcome to come in right now. We are here waiting. wait.
Right.
All right, mate. How's it going?
I'm good, buddy. Yourself?
All right, mate. As I spoke to you about, mate, let's just look at these fucking clowns and analyse their sophism and clear up some things for people in regards to the app. I'm getting a terrible feedback, mate. If you get YouTube on or something,
I haven't, no. Still bad, is it?
no, it's gone now.
Okay.
It's slightly, I could hear it a wee bit in the background, but. So I'm just reading through some of this crap, and then we have the Timmy Osman again. They show their groups and their little gatherings. Oh, there's that feedback back again.
Hold on. Well, I'll dial back in again, maybe. Just check, see if it's me. I'll do that. I'll dial back in.
Oops, okay, mate. So again, as I say, we have all their wee gatherings here. I'm surprised the character John LeGimp's not in here as well. He's another sophist fucking moron who offers nothing but division. An absolute fucking clown who has been offered and, said, come in, join us, let's see what you have to offer. But they won't, because they know that we don't have any bias to defend. We don't have any adopted model, any false claims or straw men to push. So the only way they have something of substance is when they can battle with another straw man. They are sophist clowns. So listen here, we've got this Timmy, another one of their group. Beast Mode Jedriff, beautiful on many levels. Do love the shows, it is just your perspective. The Mark Sargent bit had me curled over, bro. He is slavering on with the flat earth plebs, promoting the fucking charlatan convention. Guy is an absolute joker and a sad excuse for a living being. So again, here we have a gathering of the little bitches, man. These are the little fucking annoying pains in the ass bitches who cause, even in our small social groups, problems, right? I would squash these fucking dweebs in a heartbeat, right? These fucking dweebs hide behind computer screens because they would have no chance of surviving in a general public situation. If I was to be, out in the wilderness with these clowns, I would have them out in fucking 2 seconds flat, right? They wouldn't even try it because they know what would happen, right? They're fucking muppets.
Absolutely. So one of the, is that echo better now, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just one of the things that really annoys me is that they keep sending boys in to do men's work,
Yeah.
And I'd really like the people that are behind that to start coming out and showing their face, because listen to these illogical children, they don't even understand philosophy, natural science, mathematics, geometry. I mean, you get kind of fed up with it, and I know it's kind of grating and irritating when they do these stupid fucking videos, but yeah, as I say, I just wish the men behind, or the people that would stop sending kids, because I feel sorry for them sometimes.
Yeah, well, they're just there. They're seriously mentally ill retards as far as I'm concerned. I don't even have pity for them though, because they're so arrogant and up their own fucking ass that they're blinded. But that's my dilemma, mate. I know they're insignificant and they're fucking absolute clowns, but we have new people coming in all the time, and you get these morons showing up left, right, and centre. So what do we do? Do we ignore it? And then take the risk that they are affecting people with their sophist crap? Or every time they try it, do we meet them head on and just call it out and offer them the opportunity to back up what they fucking say and show that they've got a spine and that they are actually real?
Well, they won't though, I mean, how long you've been there for a year now, offering people to come on, Dale, and nobody fucking turning up, including these spineless people that, make stupid videos, so that just proves the point, man.
Well, that's it. I'm going to prove the point every time and just call them out on it, Right. So let's see if any of them show up. They're welcome. Let's have you right now. Come in and fucking prove the globe. Let's have it.
I want the organ grinder to come as well, and not just the monkeys that play on the orgle, So Give me the man who's turning the big wheel. Tell it to come on. Talk to us.
Exactly. So what are we going to do? Are we going to play through this video and have a listen to the fucking crap and analyse it? You up for a bit of that?
Aye, let's have a look at some of the sophism, the false syllogisms and fucking...
Yeah, let's have a wee laugh. Let me know if you can hear us.
Oh, and welcome back.
Can you hear that?
Aye, I can hear it good.
No problem.
Another weekly roundup.
Another weekly rambling of an illogical fucking twat.
So, tonight, as the title says, let's teach people about flat Earth.
Good on you, you fucking gimp.
That's how I learned about the real shape of the globe Earth.
So, straight away, we've got this character saying this is how he learned the real shape of the globe Earth. I would really, really love to know how he learned that. Because where is he getting it from?
Maybe he's got some arguments still. Well, let's just spool it on and see if he's got some arguments.
I was thinking about that. It's a good exercise.
He says he was thinking. I doubt it.
I'm not believing that for a minute, no.
I'll get back to that in a minute, but I was just checking up on validation point. I was just listening to Pat talking about veganism and animal cruelty and how she cried, and she's sitting in a 4x4 surrounded by leather. Where did she think this leather came from?
Hurry up and get into it.
White leather.
Gingy.
Aye. So thanks for coming tonight, guys. I get it's a busy night with Antonio with his pointless sun tracking crap. Validation boys suddenly put a...
I wonder why he's saying it's pointless. I wonder if it's for the same reasons I would say. The only point here would be to highlight the anomalies and what the official story tells us. But again, I'm going to reiterate, and I'm sure you can back me up here, you will never, ever get measurable proof for the shape of the earth by looking into the sky. It does not offer you measurable proof for the land, the very earth that you stand upon. What would you say to that, Gav?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. 100%. There's people have tried it, like Gauss, had an experiment, that he tried to prove the shape of the earth by doing measurements on the surface of the earth, and it's it's written, documented that it wasn't possible within the errors of experimental observation, so nobody can, it's just bullshit. The man doesn't even, he needs to research a little bit more before he talks shite like that.
Get up to be Uncle Fester lookalike.
Stealing my bar again.
Timmy's got one going as well. I was going to have a few people on. I might have a few people on. It depends how I feel. But the UFC is on tonight. I was saying to Timmy last week that I was looking forward to this Daniel Cormier fight. It was actually this week.
Guys let him get their kicks out of watching UFC because they're spineless fucking idiots. And they get their wee thrills by watching, real men fucking go toe-to-toe because he's not got a fucking clue what a real man is. He can only fantasise and touch himself about it,
Yeah, I mean, all that cage fighting, there seems to be a lot of cage fighting scientists around the flat earth, It makes you wonder if that's the people that they look up to, But fair enough, everybody to their own.
Imagine clowns like this getting into a cage in the first place. Oh, for fuck's sake, it would be a bloodbath in about 10 seconds. You know what I mean?
It's really as bad as cage fighters being scientists.
I can't make this too long.
Thank fuck.
Anyway, hope you're having a good weekend. You've got beer tonight. Caesar Augustus.
Drown your sorrows, my man. Drown your sorrows. Another sign of weakness.
Lager IPA hybrid.
Hurry up. Say something fucking decent.
Aye, so I was thinking.
Again? Wow. You better watch that.
I was thinking, through primary school, obviously kids should be taught the globe. They see the globe on the teacher's desk, as flat earthers keep saying.
So right away, this guy's saying kids should be taught that. Where is the actual verifiable proof that it is indeed a sphere? And then why would you promote that you teach kids it when there is quite obviously serious flaws within the model? Okay.
But I think when kids or young kids get or young adults, teenagers get into high school, I think their teacher or their geography teacher or whoever teaches them about the world should tell them that Earth's flat. And the students would probably look at them like, what? And I think...
No, they wouldn't.
There's a wee bit of sophistry right there. Aye, on you go.
No, on you go, say it. On you go, mate.
I was just, we're talking about the propaganda that we get from the age of 2 onwards, right? Yeah. And then to twist it, afterwards to say that, we're now in high school, we're now 16, we've been thoroughly brainwashed, and then to bring the argument that if the teacher says it's flat, then of course maybe kids would say, well, wait a minute, that's not what we were taught, right? Yeah. But if you take it back to when you were 5 years old, right, and you told a kid that you're on a round earth and you're fucking spinning, then every kid would say, you're fucking off your rocker, because I don't feel anything, Daddy. Huh? I can't feel myself spinning. How does that work then, Daddy? Yeah. I've had those questions from my kids at that age. Do you know what I mean? Maybe he needs a few kids. I hear he's having a son and I hope everything goes great for him. But wait till he has these questions then from his own kids and see if he's still talking the same nonsense. Yeah. But that's a nice wee twist of sophistry he's doing there,
Yeah.
And it's not what we're claiming. So
exactly. And kids without the pressure, the fear of intimidation and authority, and being told that that's the way it is and you've not to question. If you actually had it as an open discussion, I'm sure kids would bring up very valid questions like, how the fuck does that work? How can somebody be standing upside down? And then you're going to have to invoke your sophist magic fucking crap, Spent 25 years trying to convince them that your magical formulas is the reason why, right? In their own common sense experience, they don't experience movement or curvature, absolutely absolutely anywhere.
And neither do we. Even when you're fucking 50, you don't. So
yeah, exactly. So wait a wee minute here. I'm seeing some comments coming in from the Gertrude Perkins account and the ALK. Let's just read them out right now. See what the fuck they've got to say.
Will they not come in and have a conversation?
Because they've no fucking spine and they're sophists and they're liars and charlatans, so they're not going to show up because they know that they're going to get absolutely fucking torn to shreds.
Right.
So that's what we
sending boys today, men's work.
Exactly, man. If you are convinced of your argument, it's not an argument, my man, it's not a debate. Again, total denial and ignorance to what is really going on here. And if you have the courage of your convictions, then please put your evidence in writing. No, I'm not going to put it in fucking writing. Text means fucking nothing. You have to have the practical observations, the practical examples, you fucking muppet. We're not writing a religious book here, right? But you are part of a religious group, so you refer to text and symbols and fucking images, right? Because you're a crazy fucking crackpot, right? So I'm not going to put it in writing to anybody, okay? I don't need to put in writing the natural physics of liquid upon earth, right? It's fucking blatantly obvious to everybody with a fucking functioning brain and common sense. Seek publication in August publications such as Nature Again. Let's write to the very sophists and fucking liars who perpetuate the nonsense, and also seek peer review from the world scientific community. That is how science discoveries are publicised and validated, and not through YouTube. So, but we go to another means where it gets sent in writing to another group of fucking people who are all together. It's not the general public, and they make these decisions, right? So, and who's it being validated by?
The problem, Dale, is that these people who are making those decisions, they don't need to be in any conspiracy. They just need to be basically on the wrong philosophical path, denying their own common senses, right? Again, I'll reiterate the point. I don't think, there's any conspiracy going on at all. I think it's a bunch of academics that haven't looked seriously at the foundation of what we've been told, and they're missing that, and that's where the common man needs to kick them awake.
Exactly, man. So, and then we'll get the ALK. In other words, you'll be wasting more of your life making a tool of yourself, hiding in your shed like a hermit, ranting and raving like a psychopath over a bullshit meme you have no evidence to support. What a guy, whoop-de-fucking do. I'll be making chicken and vegetable soup for lunch. It's nice being sane. Well, let's have a wee look at this. Hiding? No hiding anywhere. Ranting and raving like a psychopath? No, ranting and raving like a guy who's passionate against fucking lying, charlatan sophists such as yourself. And I will always be passionate against fucking muppets like you, because you're a fucking direct enemy to real people, common man looking to fucking answer these questions. You're a fucking criminal as far as I'm concerned, you wee prick, and I would squash you like a fucking ant if you were standing in front of me, okay? Ranting and raving, like I said, over a bullshit meme you have no evidence to support. No evidence. I have actual fucking verifiable proof that every single person alive can test for themselves, that being the natural behaviour and physics of liquid upon earth, right? Does not conform to the exterior of shapes. You can't have all bodies of water will seek and maintain the level. They will take the shape of any receptacle. They will never conform to the exterior of any of these shapes. The surface will always be horizontal from one end to the other. If it is a standing body, it must be at the same elevation or the water will flow. Fact of reality. A fact that blows a massive hole in your idiotic globe model. By the way, one fact that blows a hole in your model, one fact that you cannot account for or fix your model and incorporate it into, means your model is fucking trash. Should be trashed instantly and we start again, which is exactly what people here are trying to achieve. Okay, we know it's bollocks that what people have been caught up in, i.e. the globe cult, and it's now an ongoing investigation into the true dimensions of our objective reality that we all share.
Let me just add one point to that, because I saw just a question there that somebody was curious about how math can form a false axiom.
Yep.
And again, I'd just like to point out the two Euclidean and non-Euclidean geometries that are there. The Euclidean geometry, which is 1,500 years old, and in which every single construction on this planet is built, right, has a definition of what a straight and a level line is, yeah? And that is what is used to, make constructions, yeah? And that's in the definition and the axioms and the general assumptions made. So Euclid started with 5 things. All he needed was 3 common notions and 5 5 things, and he built the rest of the geometry, of Euclidean geometry, based on those 5 first principles. And there's one of them called the parallel lines axiom. And he made his definition of it, and that's what we build and construct. So in the 1800 centuries, along came people like Gauss and Riemann, and what they did was basically take those initial axioms, not the equations that come after those axioms, but those initial equations, and they redefined a line to be a great circle of a sphere. And if it's a great circle of a sphere, then it meets at 2 points on the opposite side of a ball. And then you can go off with those 4 of the axioms are the same. The 5th axiom is change the definition of a line, and you create a complete geometry that is rigorous, consistent, has no contradictions within itself, right? So these 2 geometries can exist side by side. Mathematicians see all of it to be correct. The only problem is one of them doesn't take into account that water is always fucking level. And if mathematicians have unfortunately missed that point, then they need to look at the Riemannian geometry and say, well, yes, it's a nice geometry. It works. It's built on axioms that we've decided, that we've arbitrarily chosen, because this is a formal science, right? You define things. You don't go out and make a natural observation. You can just take a formal definition and build a geometry on it. So if every mathematician believes that a straight line is a great circle on a sphere, then off you go. We've got an idea implanted in our head, and they can sell us a fucking globe. But Dale, as you've repeatedly pointed out, this contradicts the natural properties of water. If you make natural observations everywhere, you will not find curved fucking water. So, they need to go back and look at these axioms and understand that they are wrong. They do not reflect reality. Yeah. So, let's have that conversation, please, mathematicians, anybody out there. And I mean anybody, professors, you name it. They can come and have that discussion and prove me wrong.
Exactly. Prove us all wrong.
Right.
And that is exactly why mathematics is a formal science, because it's a language that can be, twisted and used. It does not depend on the empirical observations, just as Gav's pointed out. So for me, when they're reciting mathematics, it must have the practical example to follow, or it means absolutely fuck all.
Yep.
So,
I don't understand what part of the sentence natural science people don't understand, because if you take nature out of the science, it is no longer natural science, right? Yeah. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. So the sophists have employed it and used it to their own advantage to push their fucking nonsense.
Absolutely.
We've got this guy here, I see just in the chat here, Germanicus Keith, I would bomb your shed before you squish me like a bug. Well, that is exactly you guys' type of nature. Absolute spineless shite bags. I would face you toe to toe on any aspect and face you and look you in the eye. Shite bags like you and other shite bags who are running around this earth causing misery for other people would bomb, throw bombs from afar, stab you in the back when you're not expecting it, because you're a spineless piece of shit, a lowlife. So, anyway, let's continue with the sophist crap.
The teacher should tell them that the Earth's flat. Go away and prove me wrong. Prove to me that the Earth's not flat without NASA and without fancy mathematics. Just go away. And an exercise like that would be really good for the kids, I think.
Yes, it certainly would, Jed Mealson, because they would come back saying, excuse me, Miss Sir, there is absolutely zero measurable curvature anywhere. The natural physics of water are telling me that is fucking impossible. And if you're claiming otherwise, could you show me a practical example, please, sir or miss?
Good, because the kids would come back and say, teacher, the Earth's not flat, you idiot. I studied the moon phases for 2 weeks with my dad. And
there we have. There's the evidence coming now.
We marked it down, we matched it up with other places. You're talking rubbish.
So again, back to the sophism right away. The kids would come back and say, teacher, it's not flat, it's a sphere because I looked at the moon.
I ignored my common senses and looked at some visible objects that I don't really understand. Yep. And that's fuck off.
We don't know what the moon or any of the luminaries are. We're just going to presume and insist that they are solid-bodied spherical objects and blah, blah, blah. And again, I studied the moon. I have absolutely zero measurable curvature, but the circle in the sky makes me want to believe that I live on a ball. I mean, that's what we're getting here from this. This is what we're talking about with sophism. We're looking for actual tangible, measurable proof of the claims that are made. You know, it's like, as I've said before, I use that analogy so many times. Let's study the content of the shed by looking out of the window. You know, right, Gav, look out of the window and I want you to measure the desktop that you're leaning on right now. You know, it's just not going. It's absolute crap. You know, and this is the point about logic and reasoning and coming to natural science. You know, I was honest enough with myself to look at these very same proofs that they offered me in the mainstream about why it was a globe, and I realised very quickly that there was nothing measurable in there, and nothing has changed. But these chaps, you know, for some reasons, still think that there is proof when it's no proof of anything. Yeah?
Absolutely nonsense. I've looked at it myself, Dale, for 3 years now, looking at the maths and physics behind it, you know, trying to, you know, look at it all different angles with as much ability that as I have, and it's shite. There is no measurable proof of the Earth's curve, apart from bringing these images from space, which is the only reason they had to do it, because, you know, they wouldn't have been able to convince the people otherwise.
No. That's, again, go back to the school scenario. Without those images, you're never going to convince anybody that it's a fucking sphere, because everybody would laugh at you. The only reason people are confused is because people have pushed images as actual fact when we know that they're no fact. And somebody in chat saying, don't let these get to you, you know, chill. I'm chilled. I'm going to show my passion. But again, it's that dilemma. Do we just sit back and let the sophists run amok? No. You know, these are the direct enemy of the common man and common sense, so they should be fucking met head on in every aspect, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. You know, people don't like it, that's fine, but it's part of my activism and part of my journey. If you don't think it's important to highlight the sophism and the charlatans who are amongst us, then that's fine. You know, toddle on your merry way and live in ignorance. You know, I'm not going to do that. You know?
I think the important thing is we just highlight their methods. You know, I don't give a damn's arse about, you know, the people behind it. You know, if that's what they want to believe, then fine. But I think it's important to highlight the tactics, the methods, what they use, so that other people don't fall into the trap. Yeah. And
if they genuinely believed it was a globe, then you have to ask yourself, what's the logic and reasoning behind them constantly being present within this whole scene? Constantly there, pushing nonsense, saying, I feel as if I have to. I mean, you know, it just doesn't add up. It's nonsensical crap. You know, more illogical fucking ramblings. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Marshall, how are you doing, man?
Fair to middling, dude. You caught me on the hop there. I was getting some rays while there was blue sky.
Nice one.
Hey, Marshall. How's it going, man?
How you doing, mate? We'll have a chat later, dude. I'm just settling back into my policing position.
Yeah, let us know if any of the sophists show up. If anybody
send them the link, Marshall.
Anybody who thinks they can prove it's a globe, we are here waiting with open arms, ready to accept any proof that anybody offers us. So, you know, we're making it public just so that people know we are open to it on any level. So let's see if they show up. So I'm just going to continue with the other sophist crap, and let's see. We'll just see how long we can bear it for, right?
We can put up with it, huh?
The teacher be great. That's good. Well done, son. Pass. The next kid could come along and go, teacher, the Earth's no flat. Again, when you're looking at the horizon, watch the sunset. The sun doesn't get smaller and fade away.
Oh, stop on there. Stop on there. There's quite a lot of, you know, I think you just need to Google, you know, time-lapse footage of the sun shrinking, you know, and there are good ones. And it's fairly obvious that the higher you go, the more altitude you gain, the more that is visible. But when you're on the surface, you don't see the sun shrinking like that. So there's very good footage. I think it's on a guy called P-Brain, where he has footage of a high altitude observatory above the clouds, and there's, you know, ample footage there to see that the sun does in fact shrink at high altitudes.
Yeah, I've seen that a few times, you know, in certain videos and stuff as well. So
the fact that it doesn't shrink when you're on the surface is a different thing altogether. That's to do with perspective. That should be answered in the next video that I'm putting up, by the way. So.
Excellent.
So does it just sink into the ground? Pass. You've done it.
Pass. I passed all your logical fucking faculties, and I don't believe any nonsense.
He's projecting himself here. He's projecting, talking about teachers, but really we know that's him in his mind. Oh, well done, son. You bought my illogical fucking nonsense. Yay! You're part of the fucking cuckoo gang. fucking muppet.
With each student, the next student comes along and goes, teacher, I studied the star rotation. In the northern hemisphere, the stars go anti-clockwise. In the southern hemisphere, they go clockwise. Teacher says, pass. No, there's rubbish where they put the kids in the class, put a book in front of them and say, that's the Earth, that's where you live, that's the country you stay. Learn the capitals, and that's about it. This is maybe the problem. This is maybe why primitive thinking, like the flat Earth, becomes so popular, because it's not really the flat Earth.
So primitive thinking, in this chap's illogical nonsense mind, is people, accepting their common sense everyday observations. That, to this clown, is primitive thinking, because to everybody's common sense everyday observations, it is a level plane we live upon.
Absolutely. I can only go one step further and say it's absolutely hypocritical, especially this guy who's got skeptic in his name, the skeptic who denies everything, denies reality, denies common sense, and yet when he goes to the shop to pick up a pint of milk, he's going to rely on it so that he doesn't get fucking knocked down. Is just a pure hypocrite. You can't deny one and then live it in daily life. Sorry, pal, you're going to have to wake up.
Try and actually think rather than fucking take grips and repeating nonsense, because these guys aren't doing you any favours, my man. You just sound absolutely fucking stupid, Yep.
It's not our fault. It's like the flat earthers on YouTube. I think it does stem with the education if you go back, because we as adults become so confused about where we live.
Did he just say he was an adult? Did I get that right? Did he just say he was an adult?
I think he referred to himself as an adult.
Okay. Well, where is he then? Exactly. Hey, Jed, come on, big man.
Exactly. Where are you, son? You were there commenting an hour ago. Where are you?
Robbie and Neil are both saying that Jed's deleted the video.
Deleted the video?
Oh, that's a shame.
Oh, shame. How come I'm still playing it then?
I don't know. They may be using a different link, unless it's cached on your machine, in which case don't refresh that page.
No, I'll not refresh it. I'll just keep carrying on.
And Anthony Riley says the email is bouncing back from GMX. So I'm going to go and check that now, Anthony, all right? And I'll get back to you. Sorry,
remember, we're looking for globe believers here. We're looking for anybody who's offering us proof of a globe. That's purely what this is about. So let's stick to the topic.
The line. Something must have went wrong down the line. If we would even consider flat Earth.
No, something's went wrong down the line when people started to believe it was a fucking sphere. Something went wrong down the line because manipulation and sophism was implemented into the common man. The removal of things like the liberal arts and educating people how to think and discern and to assess claims, to understand logic, rhetoric, grammar, reasoning. They don't have those critical skills. So there, once you've removed that, you can make people believe in a fucking cartoon, right?
Yep, you just replace notions and ideas in people's heads using the same words that they would usually have used, just redefined, and all of a sudden you're off and running.
Yeah.
Something that must have not been right, because if we were like those kids I was just talking about, if we were like those kids, those four kids with different examples, and we grew up, when it came to people like Del, like approaching you in the street, the Earth's flat, you. Again, a misrepresentation. Del doesn't approach people in the street and say, the Earth's flat. Right? And more fucking lies. Go back to being a kid and go, no, it isn't. I done this. And they couldn't use all this rubbish, like photos are fake or anything like that. You would go back to the memory of being a kid, doing your homework, doing the scientific method to prove a spherical Earth.
So if it was part of the education system from a very young age, these university students who I am actively chatting with, why is it they stutter and mumble and don't have any solid proof?
Absolutely. There's one thing I'd like to put in there too, this talk about empirical proof and using nothing but induction to try and, falsify a certain theory that you put up. It's recognized by people who understand that, at least, that induction can never give you a final proof of anything, because if you're always relying on something to falsify it, then you can never reach a complete deductive conclusion. So when people talk about all this empirical stuff, then they need to understand that it's all based in induction. And there are other ones. There's abduction and there's deduction, and people need to understand the difference differences between these things. I'm not going to explain it here. Look it up in Wikipedia, but people need to understand these differences. The induction doesn't mean it's a proof of anything. It's basically you try and falsify something, but it never conclusively proves it, especially if you remove the substance and nature from the equation. And we're having an abstract quantity like levelness, that doesn't use water to analyze levelness. It uses levelness redefined as something completely different based on a different geometry. That the people need to understand those differences.
And that's going to be an up and coming video I'm going to do shortly, showing how a water level works and the absurdity that these fucking muppets want you to believe. So if I'm standing at the top of a huge hill or mound, I can show you level, and I'm going to take one end of it down the fucking hill and show you the absurd nonsense that these fucking creeps want you to believe that somehow is going to stay level and the water's going to form. We know fine well what's going to happen. But I'm going to show the fucking absolute stupidity.
Imagine if the whole society was like that you couldn't get bamboozled like this so easily.
Well,
I started thinking that.
That's what my whole push is. Imagine a society that couldn't be bamboozled. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Start giving people back the liberal arts. Start giving people back the ability to discern. Proper education, and then let's see how far your fucking sphere cartoon goes. Right?
Well, I was thinking, wow, maybe it is the education system.
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe they are.
First bit of sense you fucking said.
The way they teach us knowledge. Because you keep hearing this, and I've heard it in Dells, and they throw these words around and they don't really understand them. It's painful to listen to them sometimes. And even like the younger struggling to articulate to these guys because they're so primitive-minded. They couldn't even understand the principles of duality for base.
No, they couldn't understand the principles of dualism. Dualism is a term regarded in mind-body philosophy. Is the mind separate from the physical, or do we have a soul? That type of dualism. That's how I understand it. So trying to get them to clarify what they actually were discussing showed me that they didn't really understand what they were trying to say. Okay, so stop lying, you wee fucking prick.
Things like that. So like when he's trying to communicate, it's like I think the younger ones. I think this is why maybe the schooling system has changed to a certain degree. Maybe this is why all the older people are getting fooled into flat earth, because I find myself as one of the younger age brackets. I'm in my early 30s. It's like I feel that
you're in your early 30s and you still run about acting like a wee gossiping bitch, right? So obviously you're a sneaky wee snidey grass, because I'm sure if you behaved like that in your public, and you claim to be from a scheme, you would be bitch slapped from left to right until you learn to shut your fucking mouth, because that's what happens, in our groups. Right? You run about opening and running your fucking mouth, you're going to get slapped for your slanderous behaviour.
I must say, I find it nearly cheeky that, there's somebody there who would deny, the experience of older people. Not that I'm always saying older people have it right, don't get me wrong, but, if his mother was watching this, she'd be ashamed of him, I think.
Maybe it's because some of the older people have escaped the intensity of the programming. What about that?
That's more like it. Right?
From the 80s and forward, the intensity of the fucking programming, has been ramped up. Increased Hollywood movies, increased propaganda in regards to what NASA and all these clowns are proclaiming to have achieved, right? Whereas older minds who have got a bit more discernment about them would be viewing it and going, nah, wait a wee minute here. But unfortunately for the younger generations, they are right in the middle of it, bombarded and then peer pressured to believe it. So, for me, that's exactly what's going on. It's harder for the youngsters because they're so bound by the pressure, right?
Absolutely. There's so many more distractions than I had when I was young, when I see these characters, Game Boying and, playing whatever Xboxes and stuff like that, all fun for a time, but Jesus, get a life and, think about things, don't just get distracted from all that shite,
But this is coming from the very chaps who sit and play fucking games.
Yeah, I know.
So
younger than me, maybe in their 20s, mid-20s, but the really younger generation, are they falling for this? So what went wrong with us?
Hey, wait, stop there too, Dale. I've got 3 kids, and I think same with yourself. You've taught them to think critically about things, and that's obviously something Jed's missed out on in his education. So, I don't agree with that. There's only people older than 50 or whatever in this, and anybody younger than Jed's age it doesn't fall for it. It's pure nonsense.
Yeah. It goes to the teacher and our knowledge, and it goes back to them throwing these words around. Beliefs. You can't have beliefs. You can't have beliefs. So you keep hearing beliefs. And the young guy on Dell's show was like, you need beliefs. The person that's got the belief stronger than the belief. The person that's not got the belief.
So let's just clarify when we're talking about belief. You know, again, they want to misrepresent and take it wherever they like to take it, you know, and lie. Belief in this question in regards to, you know, ideals, religions, is not required. The objective reality that we all share doesn't require anybody's belief. It is what it is, you know. If you doubt it, you know, take any mind that doesn't have any beliefs and see if belief counts in regards to how the objective reality is working. You know, for me, it is really there. It is of substance that can be explored and looked at and realised and discovered. So
I believe in self-evident truths as well, and I believe in my common sense. So it's not as if this word belief can't be used, but what it can't be used for is to you know, you say that an idea in your head is true, and that's what they keep doing, So I believe absolutely in my common sense. If I kick a stone, my fucking foot hurts, that I believe in, and self-evident truths like fire is hot, and you know, all those things, and water is level. That's all to be believed, you know, these are self-evident, It's not as if any of us is denying that, but what we do deny, or what I deny at least, is any belief founded on an idea that is not verifiable. So,
but the thing, just to reiterate, you saying, you know, you believe if you kick a stone that it's going to hurt. That belief is not really a belief; it's a knowing, and it is based on experience of the actual objective world that we all share.
Absolutely.
You know? So I don't have to believe that a rock's going to break my foot if I kick it. I know it's going to break my foot. That is based on experience.
And it's based on the experience of everybody on this planet, Dale. You know, it's not just me and you talking this, you know.
No, so there's a big difference. And again, it's words. For me, words need to be understood. And that's why, you know, for me, belief, let's just go and we'll see, right, hang on a wee minute here, let's just clarify this. Let's see what we get. Oh, right, Google, belief. An acceptance that something exists or is true, especially one without proof. Trust, faith, or confidence in someone or something. Right. So there we are, right? An acceptance of something that's true, especially one without belief. So again, I don't believe the rock is going to break my foot. I fucking know it's going to break my foot, right? It's not a belief anymore because it's realised as an actual experience.
Yep, and I don't even need to kick it myself. If I see my pal jumping up and down holding his foot, you know, and screaming in agony, then that's also enough for me, you know? So all this crap about that we always need to absolutely verify it for yourself. I mean, we need to take it to, they spin that one too, as if, you know, we're only accepting something that is that, you know, that we have to do ourselves, But you know, there are things that you can trust and observe and see. Well, okay, I'm not going to do that because this guy's howling in pain, So
again, it's you know, acceptance and that. I don't have to believe anybody. If something's there, I can go and actually experience it for myself. You know, what the difference is, you know, me talking about something as if I've experienced it based on somebody else's experience. Then I do it a disservice, because it's not my experience, you know, I'm passing on hearsay. So when I say that to people, you know, we should only share our direct experience with each other in regards to information or bringing anything progressive to this question, you know, no passing about hearsay.
And he's kind of right. But the thing is, we all walked around with the belief that the earth's round. And why did we believe that? Because our teachers told us so. But that doesn't make that belief real knowledge. Real knowledge is when you do what I said the kid's done with the teacher.
When you actually go and experience it. So he's acting like he doesn't get it, misrepresenting us, and then he does get it.
He's either completely illogical in his head, or he's trying it on one or two options.
But to use this empirical, everything has to be empirical. If you've not experienced it, it's not worth anything. If you've not seen it,
well, if you've not experienced it, how can it be worth anything to you? Yeah? What value is there for me to live off of somebody else's experience? Nothing.
Felt it doesn't exist. And it's just, that's frustrating. That is frustrating. It's so primitive. It's such a primitive way to think.
No, it's not. Not primitive. It's very healthy and very intelligent.
I mean, what Jed doesn't fail to realise is that, you know, this stuff it's still ongoing. You know, he wants to maybe, you know, look at a few lectures of, you know, Princeton or Cambridge or Oxford, where people are still discussing the meaning of life, after 2,000 fucking years, right? You know, and he thinks that's primitive. Sad, sorry.
Exactly. Just a confused mess, the boy. But many of these sophists seem to be, it seems to me as if they've wheeled these characters out. You know, they're just the lackeys, the idiots, and filled them full of this sophist crap, gave them gold badges, and they think they're part of the fucking in crowd. They're just muppets.
First thing people thought like this. You can go back hundreds of years to philosophers that thought like this empirically, and they found that they got to the point where they weren't believing anything. It's
there's the skeptic position coming now. Okay.
Well, we've just established what belief, what our term is belief, something that's accepted without any proof.
It's stupid. It's stupid, guys. Because really, if everything was empirical, like with your senses, if every piece of evidence for your belief system had to be built with your own experience with your own senses, if you had to gain knowledge that way, you would know really nothing. Especially people that...
How? Again, he's just contradicting himself.
Yep. Man's a mess, I mean, you need your common senses. Sorry, you go.
You need the practical experience in order to know it for you and for your own experience. It's absolutely pointless for me to take hearsay and then incorporate it into a belief system to delude myself into thinking that was my experience. The guy doesn't have a fucking clue and understand the words he's actually using here.
No, he doesn't. I mean, it's for me, it's you have your common sense. That's the basis of all your sense organs. Give you input, give you information. Then you've got the ability to reason on the basis of those senses, right? Together with the fact that you've got a memory, and so the senses are the common foundation that we all have. So you can't deny them. The very fact that we're talking about it relies on your senses. We wouldn't be able to speak about this if we didn't have common sense to begin with. So you can't deny it. It's just pure nonsense.
This all just leads to none of us know anything about our mind, and we're all just fucking rambling idiots. But there's these group of scientists and really clever godlike guys who know it and can solve it all for us. That's what us fucking muppets leading to.
He hasn't got any other arguments. It's the same one. So
or remote people in remote places, if they didn't read and study and communicate with people, talk about people with ideas and stuff, what would they know? Because there's nothing out there.
They would know their own experience, you fucking moron.
I mean, it's no problem to read something and then go out and verify it for yourself, But reading something and then not verifying it and believing it's just, especially if it contradicts the natural fucking world,
Exactly, and that's the point that they just like to miss, Right. Read something, I do it. I'll hear something and I'll go, that sounds interesting. I'm going to see if I can find out for that for myself. And then if I can realise it, I experience it, and then I can say, yeah, that's right, that is actually something,
Absolutely.
But if I read it and then I go, that sounds good and it's tangible to my imagination, and then I start saying to people, here, by the way, this is a fact and this is... I'm just a rambling fucking clown, a repeater of hearsay, right? Because unless I have actually experienced it, I shouldn't be telling them anything about it.
Hey, I've got something here I've just thrown up on the screen. Can you see that, Dale?
Yeah.
Maybe just a little interesting point. This is a definition of what measurement means, the branch of mathematics which has its objects the measurements of geometrical magnitudes, right? And importance to the kind of last sentence, I'll let people read this for themselves, but we must refer to some concrete standard, some actual object to give our measures their absolute meaning, So, when we say actual object, it could be something like water, for example, to give measures their absolute meaning. But the important point is it's arbitrary in point of theory, and its selection a question of practical convenience. So people need to realize that even in the mathematical phrasing of how to measure something like curvature, it's something that is based on the geometry of what's been assumed, the axioms. That's when you define the measurement, and the measurement you make, the tools you make, the instruments and the methods, they are all geared to the intended purpose of the measurement. Do you know what I mean? It's not an absolute thing unless it's tied to a substance, to a natural substance. So Jed, my boy, you're going to have to tidy up in your geometry and your mathematics before you start spouting shite.
This is what happens to you, son, when you start repeating crap and reading scripts and copying and pasting. Real people who have got a functioning mind are going to tear apart your illogical fucking ramblings, right?
Evidence will be the point in schools. What would be the point of schools? The
point of schools that right now that exist is to get a hive mind in people, to identify the repeaters, because those who repeat without question will be utilised and will get prominent positions. Right?
People should just going to say, people should also look at the etymology of the word school, and see where it comes from, the word shul. So, have a look at that yourselves, people, what that actually means. It's not synonymous with education.
Yeah.
Churches are anything like courts. What would be the point in a courtroom if everything was empirical? Like, what would be the point in that? Honestly, guys, it's just stupid. Like, you need evidence as well. You need testimonies, solid testimonies.
Well, this is the thing I've done before, talking about evidence and proof. For me, evidence is not conclusive. Proof is, right? So, I got up on the 25th of December as a 4-year-old child. I see that the glass of milk I left out the night before is half drunk. The cookie has been eaten. There is only crumbs left. There are footprints in the snow. There are presents under the tree. Okay, so my evidence that Santa Claus is indeed real is the fact that the milk has been consumed, the cookie has been consumed, there is footprints on the fucking ground, and there's presents under the tree, right? Is that proof that Santa Claus is real? No. So there's a huge difference for me for evidence and proof and circumstantial evidence. So these are things people need to understand, that I had to understand as well, And just in the same scenario, there's a bank robbery, they come to me, they find a ski mask, they find some money. That's evidence for them to put a story together to accuse me of doing the bank robbery. It's no conclusive proof that it was me that done it.
Absolutely, it's called circumstantial. Yeah,
exactly.
And if you when you're talking about the court system, they take eyewitness testimony. If somebody comes up and says, "I saw that man shooting out of the window, and I saw him from that corner because I was peeping around the corner. I didn't want to get shot." Then what the court will do is they'll take somebody to that corner and see if you can actually see that window from that fucking corner. Yeah, I mean, they will actually go down and they'll and then they'll start questioning the motives. I mean, that's the one thing that a court always tries to find out is the motive, the intent behind it. Yeah, so just circumstantial evidence alone proves fuck all. Yeah, even in a court. Yeah.
So a claim like I would make: bodies of water upon Earth do not conform to the exterior of shapes. Right? There's a claim. Then I can go into reality, the very reality that we all agree we share right now, and I can test that element of my reality in regards to the claim I've just made and back it up 100% of the time, and so can everybody else. So there we have proof of that claim. Right? You look at the other claim: bodies of water conform to the exterior of a fucking sphere, blah 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 blah. Let's see a practical example. We don't have any. What do we have? We have mathematical equations, a language trying to describe how that is possible without the practical application, without the actual proof.
Yep.
If somebody tells you something that you trust, they says, "Here, I've seen this. Look what I've found," and you trust them, you could take that on as some of your evidence.
No, you would take it on as hearsay. You might have trust and faith in a particular being, and you can take it on board and incorporate it as a belief. It's not an actual realization. It's not an actual real experience. Until you do experience it for yourself, it remains as a belief. It doesn't matter how much trust and faith you have in somebody else.
Absolutely. I can only repeat that too. If you give your trust into something, and if you give away that power to be able to measure for yourself, if they don't define a measurement that we can make ourselves, then you're basically giving away that responsibility to trust somebody, and you're trusting somebody else. Yeah. And, fine, you can now invoke the argument that, it's my best friend, I'm going to trust him. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about, people in white coats being paid lots of money to lie to us, So, there is a fucking difference. Huh?
Exactly.
Well, can I just say about anything you do? I've got mails for joining link. None of the Globers, they're sat in the chat pretending that they've sent mails and they haven't. I don't know if you want any company in there at the moment.
Well, as I say, it's just as long as it's on topic, mate. Really, we were looking for any of these sophists or globe claims to come forward and show it. But as if you say they're in the chat, acting like they're not getting the link and stuff like that. They can kid on all they like, If we can send it to somebody else and they're getting the link, no problem. So,
Well, while we're waiting for them to get their bottle up, I think Sean's going to pop in.
Okay, cool. So I'll just continue playing this just now. People are saying don't give this any more out, but we want to meet and show and highlight this nonsense every time they do it. And same as the rest of them, that fucking idiot Jeremy and the other twat Timmy. Let's start focusing on these clowns and really analyse what they're offering people.
To back up why you believe something. Maybe you don't have full knowledge of that belief, but you've got some evidence, you've got a testimony, you've got a trusted testimony.
Yes.
So you think. But like I said, it's a fine line. It's a fine line. And this is how we've been fooled by this crap, guys, honestly. It's a joke. It's a total joke, this flat earth.
A nice complete twist, 180 degrees, isn't it? The fucking joke's on us with the globe, and he's trying to convince people that the joke's the other way around.
Yeah.
Badly, I might say.
Yeah.
I was listening to the other night, and it's like this app, and like everything, I look at motive. That's why psychopaths and serial killers are so hard to.
All right. So app writers are now psychopaths and serial killers, are they? A good one. That's called a non-fucking sequitur, I think.
He just likes to fling that wee association in there, as if he's made some sort of sense at any relevant point, when he's not really. He's just looked for the opportunity to throw psychopath in while he's discussing us, Well,
that's a non sequitur, people, and some kind of guilt by association he's trying to prove there.
Yeah.
These guys will just kill people for no reason. There's no reason. There's no motivation. They'll just go out and kill somebody for no reason at all. And they're hard to pin down. The psychological aspects behind that, it's hard to get your finger on. But when you see these scenes, you see why people do certain stuff, and you look for motivation. My motivation for what I'm doing is that I think the flat earth is total lies, and it's polluting the information.
So here we have our generalisation. Flat earth is total lies, right? What flat earth? What parts are total lies? I know the parts that are lies, and I highlight them every fucking time and every chance that I can get, right? Because none of us here represent any of these models. It's an ongoing investigation that sleek it wee twats like this avoid that and leave that bit of vital information out and try and lump everybody together. It's a generalisation, more illogical nonsense.
Yep.
On YouTube with other conspiracies and making everybody look like idiots. And that's my motivation. And it's kind of like me. This is
Sorry, I missed what his motivation is here. It didn't really make any sense. Did you grasp it? No.
I think he was trying to convey that flat Earth is detracting people from more important topics. I think that's what he was trying to get at.
Well,
and I know there's a lot of people that think that, and there are a lot of atrocities that go on. But I'll say it again. I'm of the opinion that the flat Earth, because it has this propensity to wake up the common sense in people, is the one that will tumble all the other ones as well, and make people wake up. So that's the reason I'm concentrating on this.
The thing is that that's exactly it. I focus purely on this subject, and that's my passion. That's where my attention lies. I'm not running over to 9/11s and going, "You're detracting people from my truth. You're detracting people from the flat earth." What a fucking muppet! What a fucking muppet! Right? And again, the majority of these conspiracies, whatever it might be, are things that are out with people's direct experience. The question of the reality that we all share is directly in everybody's experience, right? So
that's why it'll be it's possible to wake everybody up through this one. Yeah, that's exactly the position.
The rest of them are too many debates and divisions and opposing arguments, because people are arguing over things that they never have any direct experience of. Yeah.
Yep.
Record, piece of history, I can go back, a reference point, I can go back and look at this. Think, Jesus Christ, what was that all about? So that's my motivations.
So you're going back to a reference point in history, i.e. something that is written down from 300 years ago, and what are you going to take for that? Nothing. It's going to titillate your imagination, and that is it. You're only going to be able to imagine what went on and if it was really true. Right? These people are into fantasy and escapism.
I think to look at other channels, and I think, what's the motivation behind their actions? And money. Money is a big one, guys. Money is a big one. Money is ripping through it all. You go in that Infinite Plane Society guy, he's disappeared. He's off the face of the earth. He's probably realised that this flat earth is probably more bother than it's worth. So he's probably out of here. He's made a quick buck and got out of here. He's probably still burning at a Jesus thing, but he's out of here. But if you look at the top right-hand corner of his page, his channel, buy maps, ODD TV, buy this. This is why Antonio's trying
just name drops continually, and bitches and wines.
I think I've had a bit enough of this.
I know, I want to get to the point here where he's talking about this money and the app thing.
All right, okay.
And then I'll save people's fucking...
Make a map. Once they think they've got an established map, they'll be selling it. And Dell now is selling apps. An app, $2.99.
Dell now is selling absolutely nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing.
And this app, everything, all the data on Dell's new app, what's it, iEarth, teaches you about the globe. It uses the GPS in the phone, which is globe. It's globe math. It's all globe. So it tells you how fast you're spinning. This new app for flat earthers. For flat earthers, this new app. You how fast you're spinning.
What are you going to say here, Gav?
I'm not sure what he's trying to tell me or what he's trying to say. You know, the main thing is that you gave Neil the opportunity to show an app that I think will allow people to observe and show up any possible anomalies with the globe model. And there's lots of things that you can do with that app to take your own measurements with your own experience, you holding the phone and checking those things for yourself. And that's what it's about. So I don't understand what he's trying to say. He's trying to associate you with money making, is my understanding, and that's just a pure fallacy. So
and also that it's going to prove the globe.
Aye, and it's not going to prove either way. It's to show up anomalies. You know, that's the thing. I hope.
It's observations again. Nobody knows what the luminaries are, but for me, the motive and why I would support it is because it will show anomalies in the mainstream claims that are made in regards to the motions, where things should be at certain times.
Fast you go around the sun. Oh, it's great. It's great if you're a globe believer. Dell's new app is brilliant if you're a globe believer.
No, that he's saying globe believer because you have to be in the realm of belief, i.e., faith, because it is a religious stance. It is based on sophistry and images.
Absolutely. And Neil has programmed this app to be as neutral as possible so that, it's just as usable for people who believe the one thing as people who are trying to find out the other, So, that's Neil's intention behind it. As far as I'm concerned, watching these numbers whiz round is absolutely fucking preposterous, since I've never felt any movement since the day I was born. But for other people who believe in that stuff, then fine. Then now they've got the numbers, they can actually, without having to calculate it themselves. And if they want to believe it, then they're free to do so.
Yeah, exactly. Sean, how are you, mate?
Yeah, all good, mate. Yourself?
Good, man. Good.
Yeah, Gav's just clarified it for me there. I wanted to say, I just wanted to ask Gav a question. I was really impressed with the app, and you've just clarified it. Not just for me, I knew that, but I think having a look around YouTube this morning, especially what you've just said there, that was my point. You get these people like Jed who are stinking reeking of jealousy and totally misconstrued what it was all about. So I really wanted to say, well done to Neil and to Gav. I think you just made the point there. He's programmed it neutral. It's for the likes of what they're doing with the sun tracker now. I mean, I commend that, because I think if people are going to build a house, there's a lot of people doing different things, and it's all good what they're doing, but I think the app would make that job just so much easier. Absolutely so much easier. You're simply just holding the phone. It's giving you the longitude, latitude. So I was really impressed with that, and what Gav's just said there was what I wanted to clarify. Not for me. I think for people out there, just to understand that it's not, from what I can gather, it's not an app saying it like, hey look, it's not spinning. Hey look, it's not. We're not flying around space. It's an app to make things accessible for us to be able to join up with our data. That's what I got from it, and I was really impressed with that, because that's something with my journey I'm going to be doing more of as of now. A little bit less in front of the computer watching people, and a little bit more getting on the streets and doing some stuff. And it's great to be able to share data. I want to try and link in with a few people. Just one question, Gav. I don't know whether this will work, Gav. Excuse my ignorance if it doesn't. How would the app work if there was 50 people with using the app on the west coast of England at staggered intervals? Would them images at some point be able to be stitched together to show that there's no curve? If you understand what I'm saying? Yeah,
I know what you're trying to say. What can the data bring? Maybe just one point. Thanks for saying that. Neil has made that whole thing neutral, and I was trying to be very transparent yesterday about how the thing's programmed so that people don't have misconceptions that this is some app that's out to prove that the earth is flat, right? That's not what it's trying to do. But at the same time, to answer this question, when we make an observation, then it always depends on the situation of the eye making the observation, right? So if you have multiple observations from different eyes, I know it's a camera, but let's just call it an eye, then there are ways to then use mathematics and geometry to try and see what that actually means. I'll give you an example of that. In the old days, the military used to take lots of observations from outside a fortification, because if they had lots of different angles from which they were looking at things, then they could from that infer what the layout inside the fort was from the different angles that they looked at from outside. So there is the idea to try and see what can be done in that direction. But nobody here saying that there's going to be something. We're actively inquiring.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. As I say, I'll just reiterate that a lot of people misdo things. The whole conversation's been about this morning. Personally, I think it should be met head on. I think the show last night was refreshing to see so many new people. It inspires me. When I look back 2 years into this, first 3 months, I was them, but they're coming out now and talking. And I think I haven't spoke to you for a while, Deb, but the platform, it's got a good vibe to it. I like the freshness. I like the new people every week. These new people, ordinary people with no channels. It's really encouraging to me. And this activism push, I'd like to encourage more people to actually, have a little go at this. It's going to make you feel a lot better. Should you choose to do that, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying, everyone's got to go and do that. Everyone plays their own little part. But, you and Neil, once again, very, very impressed. And I just wanted to reiterate the point, these people will come at you with money and all the rest of it now. That's just a fact. That's just stinking of jealousy and one thing and another. But, we'll all rise above that. You can see, I could see the calibre of human being Neil is, and yourself, Gav. But, looking at Neil there is past work on the street. That's a real activist. That's somebody who's made sacrifices in his life. That's somebody who's really committed to the cause of exposing these people who enslave us on many, many different levels. So I can't give enough praise to the likes of people like Neil who often are unsung heroes. There's a lot of people on YouTube wanting to put the face up there for much, much wrong reasons, for egotistical reasons, for money reasons. They'll sell shite for people, for hits, for views and all that. We know all them. These are just kind of things that we all know. But the likes of people like Neil, once again, very, 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 very commendable. And, I can only wish that the app does really, really well for Neil, because he's the kind of person who's going to invest that money, whatever he should gain, back into activism, back into freeing people. He's not the kind of person who's going to buy a nice wood sofa or have his wife sitting in the back room watching EastEnders and Coronation Street while he's on YouTube all day spouting his fucking mouth off about things. People can see that. I can see that. And I just feel like I've got a voice, and that's my opinion, and that's what I'd like to put out there for people to be aware of. When you're picking up people who are, look at the app, look what it's for. It's for people to, exchange information, to be able to make observations, to be able to collaborate together, to be able to come together. And look at the person who's made the app. Look at his motivations, his background, his pedigree speaks for itself. I would personally walk up to that man, you know what I mean, and give him £100 of my money and say, that's for all your effort, for all your hard work, because you have woke me up over many, 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 many years. Your hard work, your sacrifice and your effort. So I hope it does well. And I hope people really understand that any flack comes about making money is unwarranted. And, look at the source, and look at these people who are making the accusations, sitting there bitching for views, sitting there bitching, with false claims of shite. It is annoying. And I do understand, Del, with your passion. It's commendable. And, that's basically what I've got to say. And so well done, Gavin. I hope it does well. You know what I mean?
Thank you for that. All credit goes to Neil, and I've known that man now for 25 years, so I know what his bravery and his honour and his courage is. And you just need to look at the website to understand that. So anybody talking shite about Neil or the app doesn't have a clue and should think before they open their mouth.
You can see people's intentions by the walk they walk.
Yeah.
And that's what I say, people that's in their content. The difference is with this, it's not about selfish, egotistical gain for somebody to have, as Sean said, a fancy couch and a bigger TV to watch fucking EastEnders on. You know what I mean? It's for activism and to fight and battle against this fucking nonsense that we're met with, you know? So again, you sort of looking at people's incentive and the intent behind what they're doing, and no listening to, as you say, these fucking clowns who sit, bitch, whine and moan just for views and hits. But for me, it's because they're part of pushing the fucking nonsense agenda, and I'm not shy about saying it, you know, because you can't give me a logical explanation or somehow fob it off as a hobby for why these fucking illogical morons have done nothing for the last 2 years but sit there, misrepresent, lie and slander, right? There's no logic to it, right? It's not going to wash.
So we've got a chance to introduce Ken, who's got on the panel. He's been in the chat, wants to defend the globe, I think.
Oh, nice. How you doing, Ken?
Hi, Ken.
Hi, Ken.
I have no sound, Ken.
We've got no sound, no picture, Ken.
Who's
Maybe
Ken?
drop.
Do you mean Miles?
Sorry?
Do you mean Miles?
Yeah, your name's reading up as Ken, dude. So, Miles, yes. Okay, you're live, mate. Carry on.
Well, I just want to know if you're really interested in the truth, or if you've already made a decision about what the truth actually is.
What decision have
Are
we
you
made?
interested in finding out what is true, or are you interested, or are you just going to defend a set stage position that the Earth is flat?
No, we don't defend. We defend a position of it's an ongoing investigation. We do not know the full dimensions. We know that, but based on what they're telling us, there is absolutely zero measurable proof for those claims that have been made.
Okay, so that's fine then. So if we're approaching this from a point of view that we want to know what the truth is, and we're starting from a position where we say we have absolutely no idea what shape the Earth is.
Yep.
Yeah. What's your opinion of the thousands of photographs that have been taken of the Earth from space?
Well, opinions, you know, the thing is, Ken, or Miles, if you're here, I take it you're here to claim that the globe is true?
No, I'm not. I'm here to say that I want to look at what the evidence actually is and and come to a conclusion based on that evidence.
So why don't you?
The evidence is the thousands of photographs that have been taken of the Earth from space.
All right, so you have taken thousands of photographs of the Earth from space, have you?
No, I've seen thousands of photographs of the Earth, or I've seen many photographs of the Earth from space, and there are thousands of them.
Photographs?
Yes.
Actual photographs?
There are dozens of photographs.
Just went
There
from
are
50
thousands of images which are what we tend to classify, digital images, what we tend to classify today as photographs.
Can I stop you, Miles? You keep saying we. Can you stop representing, you know, a larger, you know...
Well, I mean, by we, I mean mankind in general. I'm not...
Well, don't generalise, please, because that doesn't represent me. So you're employing a generalisation, which is a logical fallacy. Can you just speak direct, you know, man to man, and share your experience?
That's what I'm trying to do.
Well, don't refer to we then, because I'm going to pull you up on that, you know.
Well, if all you want to play is semantic games, then that's fine. It's up to you.
It's not semantics. It's about understanding what's actually going on here.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do. So can you give me your opinion of the validity of the thousands of images that have been taken of the Earth from space?
Well, if you want my side of it, right now I could pull up hundreds or thousands of pictures of Nessie, the abominable snowman, the Yeti,
Santa Claus.
Father Christmas.
Do we start from the premise?
I'm actually not sure you could do that. There are a few pictures of those items, those things out there, but there are not thousands. There are not pictures being taken every...
Ken or Miles, I've muted you. Don't ask me a question and then butt in when I'm fucking in the middle of answering your question, okay? Learn some manners and etiquette, you know? I'm going to unmute you now.
I think Miles has to do that at his end. At the centre of the top of the video screen you're watching, mouse up to it and click your microphone, Miles.
Okay, that's done.
So, can we just understand that if we ask a question, you let us finish?
Yep, if you let me finish, that's fine.
That's fine. Well, you'll get the same respect if you give it. And that's what happens here. So, the point being that I will turn back to you, are we accepting images as conclusive proof? Is it measurable, verifiable or falsifiable? So, are we accepting images as conclusive proof?
Is that your question? Have you finished? Yep. Can I answer now?
Yep.
Sorry, I have to keep checking because you keep pausing and then starting up again. Okay, the fact that you're laughing, I'll take my shot. I asked your opinion of those images. You have responded by asking me a question. This is a typical kind of attitude of somebody who isn't actually interested in the truth. I wouldn't claim that that a photograph is proof of anything. But have you ever seen Mount Everest?
I can go and visit Mount Everest if I want.
Yeah, but have you?
Nope.
Right. Have you seen pictures of Mount Everest?
Yep.
Do you accept that Mount Everest probably exists, and if you do, does your opinion that it probably exists, is that influenced at all by the fact that you have seen pictures of it?
No, it's influenced by the fact that I know that it's part of the objective reality that we all share and can be visited.
How do you know that?
It's stop button and is tangible by every single person alive.
How do you know that? How do you know that Mount Everest exists?
What's that?
How do you know that Mount Everest exists?
I can go and visit it. It's here. It's tangible. If I want to go and visit
You haven't visited
how do you
it.
know that space exists?
You haven't visited Mount Everest.
Miles.
Therefore, how do you know that it exists? Can I please finish?
Miles, right. We're talking about he's using semantics. He's trying to twist here, right? Earth and its contents is tangible and accessible by everybody. He's trying to use that as some sort of sway for these pictures of space. The difference being that we don't all have access to this imaginary vacuum of space. Right? That idea and notion comes from certain institutions and very small groups, minorities, right, who claim they have been there and they produce images. Right? So let's not try and twist things. Right?
You could go to Mount Everest. You haven't been to Mount Everest yet. You sat there and you quite happily said that you believe Mount Everest exists. And I'm asking you to say why you believe Mount Everest exists.
Because I know that it's tangible within my reality.
How do you know that?
Because other people have been there, other people can see it, people can see it right now. That is actually tangible and part of the reality that we share.
Fantastic. Do you know how many people have been into space?
About 500.
Yeah, about 500 people. Back in, say, the 1950s, how many people had seen Everest?
Okay.
Everybody that was born there. Tibet's quite a big country, I think, isn't it?
You can't see it from Tibet. You have to go to Nepal, but that's fine.
Well, you're changing
a
the
lot
argument.
of people had seen it, but a lot of people hadn't seen it. 500
Miles,
people
I'm going to talk over the top
have
of you if that's the game we're going to play, Miles. Right? You're not directing and dictating the conversation here, my man. You're meant to be here providing actual proof of the fucking globe. Don't start playing your fucking rhetoric pish here, Sonny Jim. Right? Have you been to space, Miles? Have you been to space?
No, I haven't been to space,
Right.
and I'm not claiming that I have been to space. But I am claiming that we form our opinions about whether things exist or do not exist, not purely on the basis of whether we have been to them, seen them, touched them, smelt them, felt them. We base it on a whole variety of evidence, and we also take our evidence from other people. So if I meet someone and they say that they've seen this fantastic painting in an art gallery somewhere, I might think, wow, that's interesting. That's a fantastic. But if I then see a picture of that fantastic painting in that art gallery, I'll think, yes, that painting does exist in that art gallery. Have I been to see that painting in that art gallery? No, but I can still form an opinion that it probably exists.
But here's the thing, here's the difference. Can you actually go and visit the art gallery?
Perhaps not. Perhaps I am not able to go and visit that art gallery. Perhaps that art gallery is in a part of the world that I cannot get to.
Well, we've got travel, we have boats, we have aeroplanes, so if the art gallery exists, you could go and verify it for yourself, am I correct?
Perhaps, but not if I don't have the money, and the only thing stopping you going into space is the fact that you don't have the money and the resources to do it.
Exactly.
And the same would apply to me in that art gallery.
The art gallery is a lot more accessible than space.
Oh, that's true, but that doesn't. But to somebody who's an impoverished person, that is no more accessible than space, and it's irrelevant.
This is like saying, we all share a warehouse and we've got all the contents in the warehouse and all that stuff is accessible to us, and then you have some loony bin in the fucking background who says, I know another place, but we can't actually access it. The difference is that the things that are actually tangible in this reality we all share is accessible by us all. Space, the claim of the vacuum of space, is not accessible by us all.
Yes.
Loads of funding has to go to a certain amount, a certain institution of a very few people.
The same thing applies elsewhere. Okay, the same thing applies to the North Pole. I can't go to the North Pole. I don't have the resources to do it, but I still accept that the North Pole exists.
Well, you're a muppet then. If you believe what people tell you it is and that it exists without your energy.
You said you believed Everest exists. That makes you a muppet because you've never been there.
I don't believe it exists. I don't have any belief beliefs.
You said earlier that you did. You're now changing your tune.
No, I didn't say I believe
you
that
did.
it exists.
You said you know it exists as part of our reality.
Because I could go and
Those
verify
words.
myself. I can't go to space and verify for myself. But listen, you're really fucking boring the shit right out of me here and actually a bit fucking annoying. Right? You better start providing verifiable proof for your fucking claims. Here's the thing, and I'm asking the fucking questions now. Okay, son? Right? Do we accept images as conclusive proof of anything?
No.
Right, so shut up about your fucking images. We've established the logic now, okay? Or else I'm going to pull up pictures of Nessie and start claiming, why do you not believe in Nessie? Loads of people have produced images of it.
If you're only interested in conclusive proof, then what is your conclusive proof that the Earth is not a sphere or a spheroid?
Do you accept that the Earth is covered in water?
No, part of the Earth is covered in water.
It contains a lot of water. What percentage of the Earth would you say has water on it?
Actually, or has water on it, or is water? Is less than 1% of the Earth is water.
Oh, is this in regards to your internal workings and how deep it actually is, and it goes for thousands of miles into a central with all these layers and crusts and all this kind of stuff? Is this what you're invoking here? Here's how I know that
the surface of the Earth has water on it. What's your point?
Here's my point exactly. Bodies of water do not conform to the exterior of shapes upon Earth. You cannot be standing at one point and have, a declination going downhill, saying something's covering away from you with a body of water on it without that water flowing.
So you disregard all the calculations of gravity and so on.
I disregard anything that can be shown practically.
Well, it can be shown practically. It's shown practically by the Earth itself.
Where? Your pictures again.
Because the Earth itself is covered in water. So
it's covered in water now. So you're agreeing that it's covered in water.
A large part of the surface of the Earth is covered in water.
Thank you.
That's fine.
Okay. So we know.
In order to claim that the water would fall off the Earth, you have to claim that gravity doesn't exist.
No, I would claim that bodies of water upon Earth do not conform to the exterior of shapes. To suggest to me that where I stand at point, looking out into a body of water, that it curves away from me with no flowing of that liquid.
But they do. You can, if you.
Right, I'm muting Miles again. Dude, have some courtesy or just fuck off, okay?
Exactly. Right.
I'm trying to answer some questions.
Miles, you're not here to fucking ask questions, okay? You're here to defend the globe. All right, my man? The point of... I'm going to fucking mute you ignorant wee prick. The point of this hangout is to offer people the opportunity to defend the globe, right? You're not coming here to ask us questions. You're coming here to defend your globe, and we'll question you because that's the affirmative claim that we were all born into. We do not know the full dimensions of the Earth. I am telling you, you asked me what the conclusive proof for me is that it's not a sphere. I am telling you the natural physics of water that does not conform to the exterior of a shape.
Now will you let me speak?
No, I'm not going to let you speak until I'm finished. Right? That is the claim I'm making. That is what I observe and test in reality 100% of the time. Anybody who claims any different, the burden of proof is on them. It's an absurd claim to make to say that it does do something opposed to what we see every single day. So now, please provide the practical example, the actual proof that bodies of water do indeed behave like that.
The water on the Earth is an incredibly thin layer when considered in the time of the size of the Earth. If you pour water onto a basketball, a large amount, most of it will drain off, but a significant layer will stick to that basketball.
Okay, no.
We're now going on about surface tension and adhesion, right, which is something totally separate, right? The Earth, I don't claim that the Earth is a fucking basketball, right? And even when I believe the globe, I would never tell people it's a fucking basketball and then misrepresent it. We know that it's not.
I didn't say it was a basketball.
Right? It has huge caverns where these bodies of water are. It's not just sitting on the top of it as surface tension or adhesion, right? We're talking about vast bodies of water.
Do you know that compared with the surface of a billiard ball, right, the Earth is actually smoother?
Are you fucking shitting me? Yeah, absolute fucking moron, man. Are you having a fucking giraffe? Right Neil deGrasse Tyson. I know that you got it for Neil deGrasse Tyson. You've directly lifted it for that muppet, right? You go to Mount fucking Everest and tell me it's as smooth as a fucking billiard ball, you fucking clown, you.
If you could be reduced down to the size, equivalent size of being on a billiard ball, the surface imperfections on that billiard ball would be greater than the surface imperfections on the Earth. This is a fact.
Is it?
A fact.
Yes.
Right, so let's get back again.
Scanning electron microscope would prove it.
Let's get back again to Miles' his points here. Okay, Miles, how deep is the Earth?
According to the spheroid Earth model, yeah?
According to something that's written in a book which shows me cartoon drawings, okay?
Yeah, it's about 8,000 miles in diameter, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
So where's your actual proof of that, please?
You want me to over a chat like this prove that the Earth is 8,000 miles in diameter? That's not my point.
How deep is the Earth? No, you're using it. You're invoking and saying, "Oh, the Earth's oceans in comparison."
I'm saying that
size of the Earth.
everything according to the globe Earth model
I need to keep muting you.
makes sense. Everything according to the globe Earth model fits together and works.
Does it?
Okay? It does.
Show me
But
how.
if you misrepresent things like, the water should fall off the Earth, and totally disregard the fact that gravity is actually holding the water onto the Earth, that everything is attracted towards the center of a sphere, and the size of the Earth is such that gravity will hold water onto the surface with no problem at all. Okay, now that may or may not be true. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that if it were a sphere, the oceans would be quite possible as we observe them.
Okay,
now,
Ken,
curvature
Miles,
on the oceans can be seen.
Muted. Okay, Miles, now prove to us that it is a sphere, or fuck right off. Okay?
Okay, I can't prove any more than anybody else can prove. What science does is it forms theories based on an accumulation of evidence where all that evidence fits with the particular theory involved. So it's not an absolute proof, and I wouldn't claim that someone couldn't come along tomorrow and produce some evidence that would actually make everybody go, "Oh, wait a minute, sorry, we got it wrong. It's not actually a sphere, it's some other sort of shape." However,
so let's get through your evidence one by one. Let's get through your evidence one by one. Let's get through your evidence one by one. You are here to present evidence to prove to us that it is a sphere.
You're interrupting me.
Let's have it one by one.
You were interrupting me.
Let's have your first evidence that the Earth is a sphere. You're not getting any more airtime until you start providing actual evidence. Okay. So let's have number one. Let's have your number one evidence and let's analyse it. Go.
Well, the first bit of evidence would be the fact that we have mankind has been to space on numerous occasions.
I'm going to mute you again, Ken. I'm going to mute you again, Miles. We have established that we're not going to talk about generalisations. We, mankind, have been to space. No, they fucking have not. So stop it.
People have been to space and have seen the Earth from space. It appears to be roughly spherical in shape, okay? And that would be piece of evidence number one. And they've brought back photographs, and images have been taken, all of which show the Earth to be spherical in shape, none of which show it not.
Okay, so
point number two.
No. We're going to get through one at a time, and we're going to stop at each one and analyse what you said and shut the fuck up.
Okay, go on then.
Okay, we have not been to space. People, a very small minority, have claimed they have been to space. They have produced cartoons, drawings and text. If I see an image that is produced by any of these institutions that has anomalies, that is telling me lies, that is not an actual photograph, then I have every right not to trust them and claim that they are liars. Okay? But we have already established that we don't accept images as conclusive proof of anything.
Okay.
Anybody else get into say on? You shut up, Miles. It's not your turn to speak, my man. Right? You've made your first evidence. So let the panel now say what they have to say on your first evidence.
That's bullying.
No, it's not bullying. You're getting your airtime and you're presenting your evidence, and we're going to rebut every point that you make.
Can I ask Ken?
I'd like to see you start.
Can I ask you a question, please, Ken?
My name's Miles. It's not Ken.
Miles. It's got Ken on the screen. Sorry, Miles. My name's Sean. So on that point with your evidence, as you brought your evidence to the table, correct me if I'm wrong,
You're saying we have been to space, which is the generalization, and we've provided photographs to prove conclusively that the Earth is a sphere. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct. That is not what I said. I was asked to produce evidence that the Earth is a sphere.
And you just said...
I was asked, hang on, can I finish? I was asked to produce evidence the Earth is a sphere. I was asked to go, initially I was asked to produce all the evidence. Now we're going through each item one by one, which is...
That's probably the best way to go through it.
Which may be the best way, it may not be the best way.
But it's probably the best way.
That's the first thing that I selected. It's not, I'm not considered, and I explained that this is not proof. Nothing will ever be proof. All we can do is take the accumulation of all evidence and decide what the best theory to explain all of that evidence actually is.
Okay, well, can I say
item one is photographs from space. Can I just make a point?
Yeah, go on.
They are genuine photographs of Earth from space. Forget the ones put together from compilations of satellite images focused on small areas. There are dozens of photographs on film taken by the Apollo missions that show the Earth as a sphere.
Okay, can I come back at you now?
Yep.
So there's dozens of photographs, and I've seen them photographs, and I'm supposed to take it that this is evidence that we live on a globe. So my first question to you is, if there's inconsistencies within them photos, so if we look back from 1975 or 1966 right through to present day, and I show you 12 photographs, and each photograph is a different composition, land masses are a different size, are you then going to take that as gospel, as conclusive evidence that what I'm saying to you is you live on a globe with them inconsistencies within the photographs?
If we consider the photographs of the whole Earth, and not compilations of satellite images, which are tiny fragments of the Earth stitched together.
Okay.
And this is where most of the flat earthers claim, they all look different. The ones that all look different are the ones that have been assembled as compilations of small images taken by low Earth orbit satellites. If you go to the Apollo missions and look at the photographs taken, there are no inconsistencies amongst those photographs. None at all. Okay? If you look at the images taken by the Discover satellite at the Lagrange point 1, there are no inconsistencies with those. People look at that stuff and they say, this shouldn't be there and that shouldn't be there, and the moon transiting across the front of it doesn't look right. But the fact is that there are images taken every couple of hours or so, and it always looks round.
Right, okay, Ken and Miles, right. So, we'll just move on to point one. I'm going to say this again. I can produce images every 5 minutes of fucking unicorns. Me and 500 of my mates will testify to the unicorn's existence because we have access to another dimension that nobody else can fucking reach. But the fact that we can produce these images should be proof enough for anybody that unicorns are actually true and that we can access this other dimension. So it's nonsensical, it's illogical.
That's not what I'm saying.
It doesn't offer any, measurable proof for the claim that the Earth is actually a sphere.
That's not what I'm saying.
We need some measurable proof that the Earth is actually a sphere.
That's
we know
not what I'm saying.
Right, so we're going to move on from your point one, if I can just finish what I'm saying. So we have established that, okay? 500 of me and my mates. We have 500 of me.
We have photographs.
500 of me and my friend. Fucking shut up, you absolute ignorant little fuck, man. Right?
You're repeating yourself. You're repeating yourself,
numpty. Right, next evidence, please.
And guys, before you progress, Miles, sorry, man, but you're going to have to look at your logic again. You started off claiming...
Shut the fuck up, you fucking ignorant little wanker, man. I'm going to eject you if you don't shut the fuck up when people...
I was asked to respond and somebody else cut in.
No, I'm just wanting to say that I need to leave, unfortunately. As much as I'd like to stay, I've got visitors coming. And Miles, I'd just like to reply that you came on saying thousands. You've reduced that to dozens and of images that apparently prove, that we live on a globe. You're going to have to look at the logic of how you think. That's all I can say to the matter. So, Dale, hey, thanks very much for having me on, and guys, have a good Sunday still. Huh?
No problems, mate. I'll probably not be on much longer with this chat because he's really fucking annoying me. It's so hard to have proper discussions and actually get through things when you have ignoramuses like this, you know?
I agree. All right, see you guys.
Yes,
Again, cheers, Gav. But again, people, just
Can I go to point two?
I'm fucking speaking, you ignorant little wanker, man. I am fucking
You're
speaking.
such a bully. You are such a bully. You invite people on.
Fuck off, fucking spanker, you man. You have no patience for stupidity and ignorance like that, people. You know what I mean? You can think what you like about me, but I wouldn't put up with this in my own company. Somebody just fucking bitching over the top of me. I want to discuss, you know? I don't want to be escalated to this. And I've not got any patience for it. Miles, come back in. Learn fucking manners. I don't want to speak to you like a fucking absolute muppet. But if you behave like I'm going to call you.
My opinion is that was willful discourtesy. I mean, nobody's that ignorant, surely.
No, but again, this is the kind of fucking mentality that wants to come and defend this crap. So it's healthy for people to see them for what they are. Right? The platform, the whole focus of today, if you believe in a globe, bring it. Show us your proof. Don't come in here trying to bring sophist pish and drag us into your questions and your line of questioning. If you're here to represent the claim that we question, then get in. Right? So you bring your proof. Right? We establish that we're not accepting images, because if we are accepting images, then every image that I can produce is counted as verifiable proof that people should just accept as facts of reality when they're not. And generalising, saying we're dealing on a one-to-one basis here. I don't claim, we have been to space, because I've not been anywhere. I've not been to fucking space, so I wouldn't use it.
New guest, Dale, breath of fresh air, Flat Earth Liberation Movement. How you doing, dude?
Don't know what's going on. But people,
exactly.
I'm not going to be shy about my impatience for stupidity and arrogance and ignorance like that. There's no need for it.
I was just trying to drag you down into low-level, stupid, nonsensical arguments there.
Yeah, it's not even that, mate. It's just that ability. Look, I can discuss with anybody. Doesn't matter what walk of life. If you believe it's a globe, come in and discuss with manners and respect. Yeah. But these people are so incapable of it because they're so weak emotionally, mentally. They're pushing nonsense, right? So that's the behaviour you're going to get every time. When it's a liar.
The arguments are years old, the arguments, billiard balls and basketballs and water and surface tension. It's
it's all imagination stuff. Let's imagine, we shrink it down to this. Our common sense, everyday experience of it is that the mountains over there aren't just as smooth as a fucking billiard ball. It's going to take me fucking weeks to traverse them, right?
This is the con thing, because you have to, if it's going to be smooth like a billiard ball, it has to be measurable. They're talking from thousands of miles into space. They're trying to give you the comparison. Yeah. So you have to, if it's going to be like a billiard ball, you have to take it as granted that they're talking thousands and thousands and millions of miles into space.
Yeah. But he's talking based on a premise that he's taken to be true. So, and then you pull him up and say, well, prove your first premise then that it is actually a sphere. Yeah. And then they start waffling. Yeah. He still has the link, Don't be scared. If you can have manners and respect and provide your evidences, then come ahead.
The generalisations, you flat earthers, that I don't like when he brings it. You flat earthers, no one's saying, this flat earther thing, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's the label they try and put on it.
Aye, it's every logical fallacy, basic logical fallacy, generalising, nonsense like that, You flat earthers, you flat earthers, what about just you? What is it you have actually here to offer, Yeah. Or else I can say, well, there's so many million Catholics, or so many million, so therefore, we as a group, because there's so many, it means that it's true. It's just ridiculous.
That's just demonstrating the herd mentality, the conditioning. There's no critical thought there. There's no individual critical thought when you're using we. When you use we've been to space, it is a big generalisation, and you're not much of an individual. You're not critically thinking yourself,
And again, they forget, they talk about these images as if we have never seen them before, or we reject them just off the bat. We took them for granted as being true, the same as everybody else, until you actually analyse them and realise that they're no actual photographs, right? And that, I've no way of getting up there to see. And, we didn't even get to the point of the vacuum and the positive pressure system, They just skirt over all these things as assumptions that are actually true before proving all these assumptions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're just very quick at running down the road. They don't want you to pull them back on every wee point,
The old pressure cookers back in the day where, you never cooked anything without the lid. You had to put the lid on the seal lid with the seal around it, Pressure cookers work with a seal containment lid, not by going thinner and thinner and thinner, and then it just turns into a magic form of something different. It doesn't work like that in reality. They're the two big things for me, the water and the pressure system. They don't work like that in reality. If they don't work like that in reality, the macro and the micro has to be the same.
Exactly. Well, we're talking about practical reality here. These claims that they make, you look at reality and it's the total opposite. How do we create pressure in the first place? Oh, we need some sort of sealed container unit. Oh, well, how does it work in reality in the bigger picture? There is no sealed unit. It just layers of gas. I mean, fuck off, But again, they'll come up with sophistry and mathematical garbage, explanations and texts and wee drawings and books, and the other... Sorry, mate.
Come on, mate. Sorry, no. I was just going to say that it'd be perfect if it worked the way they said, because we wouldn't have to buy tyres for our cars, would we?
Yeah.
We wouldn't have to have a tyre for the car because it's just fucking... You don't need the fucking tyre to keep the pressure in.
No, but don't believe that. In the bigger picture, it's different. No, that's not how it works. Reality is reality, and if you make a claim, then we look at what's testable and observable. These things are actually applied in our everyday life, but we've to ignore that. So, Flat Earth Liberation Movement, is that what it's called?
You'll have to unmute yourself, Flat Earth Liberation, and also mute your watch page.
How do I mute the watch page?
If you're watching it on YouTube, just go to the YouTube video and just hit the mute button on the sound.
Yeah, I've got rid of the sound on the YouTube page.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you're all good to go.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that people saying there's photos and that of from NASA. Well, if you go to NASA's own website right now, they tell you they're composite images. Now, if I get something right now, like Dale said 1,000 times with unicorn, I had to make this point to someone. If I show them an image of a unicorn, and I say, look, how I've made this is I've took I've got a unicorn, but I can't take pictures far away from it. So I had to get close to it and take lots of little tiny pictures and stitch them together. And so there's my unicorn. If I did that to someone right now, they would laugh in my face. But because I've got a white coat on and I get billions, $20 billion a year, 50 million a day, to produce images of, for a start, a round planet that their own top astronomer is telling me is not round, it's an oblique sphere shape. I've been fed this bullshit all my life. I was into the alien conspiracy, people telling me stuff's coming from space all the time, but the ancient peoples ain't telling me that. They're telling me they're taking ayahuasca and other drugs, and they're going through to dimensions. Nothing's coming from space, a physical being. So trying to keep this idea of space alive to me all the time since I've been a child. And my kids now, I've got 3 children, my 2 girls, laugh at the idea that we're on a spinning ball. I'm showing them with a Nikon P900 zooming in on the moon. And the first thing my 8-year-old girl says is, it can't be that far away, Daddy, if you can do that with your camera. Because they can see me zooming in on something else that's a lot nearer, and I can't get nowhere near the detail that I can with the moon. I posted a star video for you last night, Del, after I heard one of the American lads on about stars, and I was amazed. I thought the videos were fake of these stars. I thought they were CGI, and then I zoom in on it myself, and it looks like a plasma ball. It's not what NASA has shown me. So these guys, they're looking at images that have been given to them, that they're being told these are not real. They tell you now the new images are CGI, then they reference me to, a Japanese that like? 'Cause it's taking 7 frames per second, 300,000 fucking miles out. Well, it isn't. It isn't, because the Earth isn't even spinning on that video. These are the kind of things I'm witnessing every day, and people keep telling me that water does not go to its level. It's not flat. I'm an engineer. I'm telling you now, yeah, the easiest way we can get anything level, right? An engineer's ideal material to make anything level, not lasers, would be water. But we can't just chuck water down on people's floors all the time and use water to level everything off. It's not practical, but it's the ultimate thing. And sooner people realise that water can only go flat and level, they start to realise you can't stick to a ball. Gravity, yeah, is a constant force of 1 kilogram. A constant force of 1 kilogram is pushing on everything, apparently. Now, it changes variably over the surface of the Earth.
Come on, mate.
Right, which is rubbish. So what they're saying to me is there's this constant force of 1 kilogram that can hold billions of tons of stuff on the planet upside down, all sorts of different ways, but let anything else move. It's just, as an engineer, it's not logical. It doesn't happen. Gravity holding the moon. Why would our planet hold the moon in position if the sun is holding our planet? Is that powerful? It's holding these massive planets like Jupiter and all that, what they're telling you. But then they've got little moons spinning around other planets. It won't happen. Everything would be orbiting the sun. So their own universe that they've presented to me since a child falls on its arse. So then once the universe fell on its arse, I had to look at the Earth. And Bob Purple, who's probably in the chat now, he introduced me to flat Earth only 2 months ago. And I was like, you're crazy, man. You're nuts. No way. I've been fed this lie my entire life. And I look going over Einstein's math and it's real, but it doesn't account for any other reactions. He's just saying everything's relative, man. It's like everything isn't relative. You can't tell me, yeah, a kilogram, an ant can't lift a kilo, yeah. So you're telling me for a start, a kilogram of force, yeah, gravity. So an ant can't lift a kilo, mate. Simple. A piece of paper can't hold, no matter if I get a piece of paper, wrap it round a big ball, yeah, and try and hold water in over the surface of that ball, even with paper around it, it will collapse because the paper can't hold even that body of water. So how is a invisible force that's 1 kilo, but yet, check it out, immeasurable also, but it's a kilo. So how is it immeasurable? Everything falls down on its arse, and people need to look at the reality around them. Get a camera, go and look at the sea yourself. You're just looking at what's on TV and going, it's curved because they're telling me it's curved. Go out to the sea. See, you don't need a Nikon P900. You can see with your own eyes. You can see water goes level. You know it don't stick to a ball. Tell your kids before they go to school and they've learnt the globe theory. If you've got little kids, tell them now that you live on a spinning ball and that, because your kids will laugh at you like you're a madhead. They're like, all right there, Dad, pink ponies exist. And that's my view. And that's why I started the global liberation movement, because I think about time people just looked up and actually got active on it, not just sat here. I don't mean to offend anyone, yeah, but like I see, I'm not pointing fingers, but I see people grinding stuff up and that, and I do that shit myself, yeah. But when we're putting ourselves out there publicly, yeah, your NASA scientists aren't sitting there, do you know what I mean, self-medicating on TV, yeah. They don't do none of this, and that's what a lot of us are doing at the moment. So people are looking at us and saying we're crazy hippies or we're stoners and we've just got crazy ideas, but we've got physical evidence, and not one of them has got physical evidence to bring to the plate. All they've got is some Masonic guy has got a photo, admitted Masonic guys, people who we know never went to the moon. They've got no telemetry, people, no telemetry. NASA tell you that, no telemetry, yeah. If I went to Africa and I say to my mates, yo mate, I went fucking Mars last night, they laugh at me. I've got the telemetry, then they'd have to believe me. But you ain't got the telemetry. I don't care how much money you got on fancy rockets, and if you get into rocket science, there's no way them rockets get off the pads anyway and go into space. It's impossible. But I digress.
I'm not getting into the illogical fallacies of, you know, what they dictate is acceptable behaviour and no. If I sat here having a smoke, then I'm just real. That's who I am. Self-medicating, whatever. You know, that's the illogical fallacy. It doesn't detract from what you're actually saying or what you're presenting. You know.
No.
So I don't feel as if I should pander to their nonsense. Again, they can say what they like about, you know, oh, it's just somebody sitting having a smoke. That doesn't offer anything. You know, again, it's just a simple logical fallacy.
Yeah, Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm not knocking anyone because I do it myself, Dal. I'm here myself.
I get what you're saying, man. You know, it is used.
It's just that's how people view us. That's what I'm saying. People view us like that because you're just the normal public. You're not a guy in a white coat, yeah? Sorry, but these people, I know doctors and that do just the same. Do you know what I mean? It's accepted throughout the world. I live in the UK. We live in a very oppressed country. They took your right to bear arms away from you years ago. You know that, Dal. They took our guns away from us in the 80s because some guy shot a 2-2 at a copper once. Boo-hoo. Do you know what I mean? That's life. That's man. He's a violent person. But at the moment, people are looking, I suppose, for a leader. Like they're looking at Eric. Like you said, there's people are looking at people like this is a god and this is the leader. But what needs organisation in the movement. And like you're saying, people need to stop bitching at each other in the organisation. Yeah.
Fucking uproar. That's what it should be.
Internally. Yeah, they should be united. It's not an internal argument. It's like going at work, fucking arguing with everyone at work. You're at work to get the same job done. What's everyone fucking arguing for? We're all here to find out the truth. And we're not looking for the earth being flat. We're looking for curvature. And that's what the globe guys need to see. We're looking to prove their reality as well as ours.
Exactly. That's what they forget. You know, if there was measurable curvature there or something to see, then, you know, I would embrace it. Same as everybody else. So they act as if there's this, you know, opposing thing going on when it's not. It should just be, as you say, people are coming to agreement that, you know, there's a question to be had, and how do we organise and go about getting it done, you know?
I mean, I think we need, yourself, you've got a logo on your channel. You need a conformity. I'd hate to say a brand, but we need to be recognised. So when you put a flat earth, like with the signs, great, we've started with the signs and painting signs, but we need like a very simple logo or something like that anyone can simply do on a sign, so anyone can connect it and it starts being seen not just as people see flat earth written somewhere, it registers with that sign as well in the, you know, psychologically in the brain. We need like an identity, and I don't think this community's got a proper identity at the moment. It is too fragmented, and I like the way you're trying to bring everyone together and say stop bitching, all trying to get to the same objective, whether you're into your globe theory or flat earth theory. We're all trying to figure out what we're living on.
Yeah, that's it, man.
And science is trying to blind you at the moment, trying to tell you, like with quantum physics now, that on the quantum level, nothing exists. If you don't physically manifest it, a particle isn't there unless I think it's there. Yeah. And this is just come on, it's ridiculous.
Crap. Again, it goes back to fucking drawings and bits of paper and equations. But Music Man, how are you? Music Man, is that right? Aye.
Yeah, thanks, Dal. I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate.
Yeah, I've been looking into a flat earth now for almost 2 years, but there's a few hurdles which I just keep coming back to myself. One is using a telescope, whereas you can bring a boat back into view with zoom. Try that with the sun, and the sun, you cannot get the sun back into the viewfinder. The second one is, they say that the globe is a sphere falling through space. So when I look at water falling through the air, the shape it forms is a sphere, and those are two which I trouble to get over. And possibly a third one is, has man become so apathetic that those who truly believe the earth is flat, they're doing fuck all about it. They're just there should be uproar. There should be blood.
I want to go back to your point about the water there, mate.
Yeah.
So you understand that they claim that we're falling? Because my understanding is that we're being dragged, we're following the sun.
No, but both systems are falling.
So the sun's falling down
the way it's falling through the galaxy. Yeah.
So what's falling? Because according to them, there is no up, down, left or right. So how do you define falling?
How do I define falling?
How can you define falling if there is no up, down, left, right? It's, you know, what is falling if they're saying, oh, well, the earth and the sun are falling? Falling where? What's the direction?
Falling in relation to space.
We know falling down here because we have direction based on a level platform.
Yeah.
Up, down, left, right, every other direction. But in their model, you know, there is none of that. So what is falling?
Falling is moving downwards in relation to a frame of reference.
So what's the frame of reference that they're using to say that we're moving downwards?
The air in which it's moving.
The what?
The air, or in this case, the vacuum in which it's moving. So space.
But I thought that was nothing. I thought it was a vacuum.
There's still a frame of reference.
Is it?
Of course it is.
Well, I thought, as far as I'm concerned, they say that, you know, everything's relative. There is no up, down, left and right.
Who said that?
I thought that's what relativity was. Anyway, and talking about, you know, like the water falling, I mean, you know, raindrops, they fall, but they form a teardrop. So are we saying that as this has fallen, there's a point on the earth where the oceans are meeting up in a big teardrop?
there's only a teardrop at the point of release.
Right, but again, the claim is that it's a globular-shaped rock with the bodies of water stuck to it.
Yeah.
So to invoke a raindrop is a misrepresentation of the claim that they're actually making. What I see is when raindrops gather together and become a body of water. That's what we're observing. How does that behave on Earth? So I really find it difficult that Andy would struggle with that, to be honest with you. But
maybe it's just for myself a personal thing which I'm having difficulty in overcoming. Like I said, when I truly do convince myself that the Earth is flat, it's like say you love someone before and you've been hurt and you're scared to love again. Like you've been convinced it was a globe, so believing in another model again, you're more cautious the second time around.
So that's why none of us believe in any models.
You obviously believe in some type of model to say it's not a globe.
Sorry?
You obviously believe in a model to say it's not a globe.
How can I believe in a model? Say, you're feeling a wee bit antagonistic, Kim. I don't think you understand what actually goes on here. To say that I don't believe in the globe doesn't mean to say I believe in some other model. Where are you getting that?
The word just came out of your mouth.
What?
The word just came out of your mouth.
What, that I believe in a model?
Yeah.
What model?
You tell me. If you don't believe in a globe...
But you're telling me I believe in something, so you're making the affirmation, the claim.
What do you believe in then?
Don't believe in anything. I don't know what I'm.
Do you believe you've got a brain?
Do you mean, do I believe I've got a brain? I'm functioning, my consciousness is here. So,
do you believe you've got a brain?
No, mate, don't twist it. I'm not twisting it. You're twisting it. You're making an affirmative claim that I believe in a model. So I'm asking you, what model do I believe in?
I was muted.
Yeah, that was me, Dave. I mean, listen, dude, you've been here before. You know the way it works. Have courtesy.
Listen, I've come on here to have help in overcoming two things which I'm having difficulty in overcoming. And you're the one starting the debate, not me. I'm trying to get some help.
I think, dude, that you're...
I'm not just a panda and just blow smoke at people's asses, which is what people do. I was here because I got two hurdles which I can't overcome. So don't bother, guys. Just crack on with your blowing smoke at each other's asses.
Nobody's blowing smoke up at each other's asses, mate. You're making a claim that I believe in a certain model, and I'm asking you, what model do I believe in?
I don't know which model you believe in. That's for you to decide.
Well, you just told me that I did believe in one.
Oh, but you know who's pandering.
No, you're trying to fuck around with your head, mate.
Nice.
I'm not trying to fuck with your head, mate. I'm not that type of guy.
You've just said to him, he said he believes in a model. He's never ever said he believes in a model, mate.
Well, surely you have to believe in some type of model if you don't believe in the globe.
See, there's your point. There's your point. Stop right there. You said he believed in a model. I will give you a million quid if you show me.
He doesn't believe in a model. It makes no difference to me.
Well, why should we believe in a model, or anyone believe in a model?
Well, don't then. That's just an apathetic way to be lazy and not source out the real truth. Saying you haven't got to believe in a model.
So you're saying rather than believing in nothing, believe in anything just for the sake of it.
Then why aren't people being more energetic about it and trying to find out what it really is, rather than
that's exactly what we're doing. That's exactly what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
I sat on YouTube talking about it all day. You saying I don't believe in a model.
Mate, I go into the fucking street and I promote activism. So don't tell me I just sit on my computer all day. All right?
Yeah.
I don't just sit on my computer all day. What do you fucking do? You're coming here proclaiming to ask me questions. Oh, you need help with this and help with that. But then you sit there and you say things and you're twisting them, saying, "Oh, you believe in something. Why do you not believe in something?" Just articulate your point. I mean, you're trying to drag it into some sort of fucking dispute here. Read it back, listen back to it, and listen to what you actually said.
You started off of all your confrontation saying about what I said you think is a model. If you don't believe in a model, then good. That's your own position. You're entitled to it.
Right, exactly.
Personally, I think it's good to understand where we do live.
So yeah.
Yeah, we're back on track.
Exactly. So I start my premise of I don't adopt any model because it's an ongoing investigation. I do not know the full dimensions, which is an honest stance to take.
I agree with that. Yeah, it is an honest stance to take.
So what's the problem?
For myself personally, I don't like being in that situation. I want to know where we live.
So do I, mate. I'm just as frustrated.
My head in, not knowing.
Mate, you got to let it stop doing your head in. It did my head in for like 3 weeks. My head was spinning for 3 weeks. When I was introduced to this and I've come to the realisation, I thought it was a psyop. And Bob Purple was like, no way, man, this is true. You've got to keep at this. And I kept at it. I looked at Dale's channel, other people's channels, went out myself. I could see the evidence for myself. And it span my head for 3 weeks. It did nearly make me ill. And to come to the realisation that this massive lie you've had, I think sooner people wake up and get out, put flyers out there. I mean, I live above some shops, so I'll stand there and shout, the Earth's flat. I shout the Earth's flat out of my windows. Do you know what I mean? I'll tell people all the time. I'm constantly hammering people with the flat Earth. I'm a gamer. I was a gamer before. All my Steam friends and that, a lot of them, they won't speak to me anymore because they've been hammered with flat Earth and trying to wake these people up and putting leaflets together. I'm going to go over to the local shops, put leaflets all around there. We'll get signs outside because I live on top of shops, so I can easily put signs up. We'll put signs around the town. And this is what people need to do. Just a lot of us have got spare time. People say I'm at work, but we've all got a couple of hours where you could just go out and put a sign on a roundabout near you. Well, go on, traffic gets that slow these days. Everyone's got a place they can put a sign, tell people to go research that the Earth is flat. And the more people start looking up, eventually the media is going to have to see it, because local councils don't like you putting signs around everywhere. So eventually it's going to get in your local press. They're going to have to start looking at it and not just dismissing it instantly and thinking you're crazy because you mentioned, oh, by the way, see that building over there? Like I say, I live on top of shops, and there's flats miles and miles away from me. They're not leaning away. They're not below no horizon. It's just complete fallacy.
No, I think perhaps then those two hurdles is just my excuse for being a lazy fucker and not spreading the word.
Yeah, we're probably, a lot of people here are just the same. Like, I've only been introduced to it recently, and I personally feel that we should be doing something. We should be out there. I mean, they've stopped us with fluoride and all this and the what. They stop you. Years in the 80s, we would have been rioting on the streets, smashing the place up over stuff like this. There's not a couple of us who think this. This is a massive world phenomenon. It's one of the biggest things on YouTube. YouTube actually keeping it off the top 10 on their own. It's proven. They're keeping because it's massive, and they know it's massive. And you're getting the BBC now. They're dismissing it. They've already been out and tried dismissing it, and they're laughing at you. Oh, but guess what? Tornadoes spin clockwise in the northern hemisphere and anti-clockwise, and it's bollocks, man. I know people in America, they just laugh at that concept themselves. And the water, just simple things that people can test every day, but they're that lazy to get up off their arse. They can't even put some water down the sink. That is the world we live in, and we're the only people. We've got to get up off our arse and show this evidence, because other people, they're just sitting at home, they're fed it every day, and that's their evidence for them. We've got to play within their rules, their laws, because that's their belief system. And as soon as we can pull that apart, the better. Yeah. That's all.
When did you first start looking into it, music?
Yeah, going on 2 years it'll be now this summer.
And you just stuck. I mean, I appreciate your honesty there. You know, after what we've just gone through there, you have stood up to the plate and been honest there by saying maybe it's my laziness. And what I've just got from witnessing what we've just experienced to it yourself is you're a natural reaction of someone who's angry and confused, and you've turned up wanting to get rid of that out of your system because, you know, you're frustrated. But I'm really pleased that you turned around and fronted it up and said, look, hang on, maybe it's me being lazy. And my suggestion to you is with them 2 points is don't look to Dell, don't look to anyone for the answers to them 2 points. Go and have a look at water. Spend a couple of weeks going outside. Look at it in your own logical mind. Don't come looking for answers off people because it's a mistake. That, you know what I'm saying? Go and check them 2 issues out for yourself, because that's all I did for 2 years, is every single issue. I haven't gone looking, feed me some information, or I'm going to get angry with you if it's wrong. It's like, hang on, okay, I'm looking at it. Go out into reality. Use something that you wasn't taught at school. None of us were taught at school. And that's common sense. Yeah. Just go out there with your senses. Look at large bodies of water. Spend an hour at the beach, 2 hours, and just sit quietly and look at that and realise that if you go to the horizon's flat. And then if you sail the boat to that horizon, it's flat again, and it's flat again, and it's flat again. These are large bodies of water conforming to the exterior of a shape. And just ask yourself that logically, mate. It's
important as well for people to understand about the claims and it being represented accurately in regards to what it is. You know, and I see this all the time about the raindrops. You know, I don't claim that the Earth is a raindrop falling. Neither do they. They're claiming that the Earth is a spherical globular rock with vast bodies clung to the exterior of it.
Yeah, but sorry to interject. That makes so much sense, because have you heard that Neil deGrasse Tyson back about perhaps 18 months ago, ago, he started coming out with his pear drop bollocks,
Yeah.
which is very close to the shape of a teardrop.
Yeah.
It's getting closer anyway.
Yeah.
Complete spear.
He's saying that in regards to the spin that just below the equator, it's kind of chubbier. He doesn't really reference the oceans, does he? But again, it's just sticking to the claims accurately and represent them accurately. Now, even going as Sean's saying about looking and observing a large body of water, everybody fills a cup in the morning, they take a drink, they fill the kettle, they put water in the pot, they put it in the bath, they put it in the sink, they go to a swimming pool, they go and they swim in a lake. If somebody is claiming that the physical behaviours change at some unspecified known size, the burden of proof is on them, because it is totally absurd and totally against everyday observations that we know and we use and we apply. So, it gets confusing for people when the sophists come in and start misrepresenting the claims, when they say, oh, look how a raindrop falls, or, oh, look what happens to water on the vomit comet, and you misrepresent the claims that they're actually making, So
I've just had a thought to myself now. I just don't think I want to be part of a fucking reality where people understand that we have total bullshit. It's just sad. It's a sad state of affairs. It's sad.
It is sad, mate. It pisses me off as well. I'm just as angry as anybody else.
Yeah, we're all in the
I'm
same
frustrated and fucking annoyed.
For venting.
Nah, you're all right, mate. You're all right. It's okay. You come clean. It's all good, mate. Your honesty. That's all. That's what it takes.
That's it.
That's all it takes, mate. A bit of honesty, and that's what you gave.
If we've got the ability to front each other up like this and get all our angst out without people taking a tantrum and running away, then we can keep pushing forward, and it's a testament to people's integrity and willingness to understand and push forward. The very fact that you don't take a tantrum and run away. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So,
I tell you what Flat Earther was saying just now, I work as a graphic designer.
Yeah.
So I'll mock up a logo for you if you want. You can start using it.
Yeah, that'd be superb. That would be excellent, like, because we're getting leaflets out there. I mean, even the missus, she's on board. We go out. I live right above a local co-op, so it's so easy for me, and I know everyone in there. I'm even thinking of setting up a stall outside and just handing the leaflets straight out, fronting people out and see if there's getting questions. But the trouble is, what's happened is the slave masters have made you think yourself as a singular. Every time I've had a guy the other day showing him the evidence, and one of the first people I've had who's actually accepted it and opened his eyes, and what he's like, yeah, but what can we do? And that's the trouble. That's how they've made you think that you were a singular, because the world's all about me, me, me. So they've took all your power away from you, made you believe that you can't do anything. But you can, even just one person. Of course, you can make a difference by putting your leaflets out, getting the information out there. And if we join as one, obviously we've got power. There's got to be. There's millions of us. There's millions of us out there. It's just everyone's afraid to speak up because of how they'll look in front of their friends. Again, being disempowered, how you look in your social circles. I don't care what people think. They think I'm nuts. They can think I'm nuts. Do you know what I mean? I'm not the one who thinks I'm living on some crazy mad spinning ball, spinning at 666,000 miles an hour around the universe. It's crazy. It's crazy. And as soon as people realise that's how they're taking the power away from, by making them think they're singular, more people should just get up off their ass, get something done, get your brochures out there.
Got a much better chance of women unite, you know what I mean, and look for that common ground and common purpose. But you also get the other dynamic problems as well, where people start looking at you thinking you're some sort of leader, or you think you're some sort of leader, and why is he getting attention, and look how many views they've got, and really that's never been my incentive or motive. None of that stuff matters to me. It's just about the truth, and that's why I opened this and hoped that people would come and unite together and start collaborating and communicating.
If you're interested in the truth, why do you block people?
Sorry, who's this?
As Miles is returned, Miles, you're going to have some more courtesy this time. It was me blocking you from the chat because
I'm in the middle of saying something and you're just butting in, man. I mean, you know what I mean?
Just wanted to let you know I'm here. I'll carry on listening. I've been here for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know, and we're just going to finish the conversation as I always do, and I gave you the courtesy of saying hello, Miles, because that's the way it works here. But really, mate, if you can just adhere to that bit of fucking respect and manners, then I've only hit the mute button and you wouldn't be banned. You know what I mean?
If I can just say a final piece now to make way for this Miles chap. I think personally for me, it's realization of the Earth being flat, it's made me really profoundly look at myself, if you understand that. So anyway, thanks for the chat, guys, and have a good afternoon.
Cheers, music man.
Cheers.
Good luck, mate.
See you later.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Good luck.
So, Miles, you have rejoined us. Hello.
I'm waiting for permission to speak.
Don't be so sarcastic, man. You know, fuck's sake. Just a bit of etiquette. You know what I mean? A bit of decency.
Okay, then I'll speak.
Mission.
And you tell me when I have to shut up. So we agreed that photographs are not proof, but can be evidence. Or did we not agree that?
You know, there's no proof, and they're your evidence if that's what you want to use as evidence, but it's not going to satisfy me, I'm afraid.
No, evidence doesn't have to satisfy you. Evidence is evidence or it's not evidence. Now, photographs might not be proof of anything, but they are evidence of things, okay? And then you have to look further into whether those photographs are accurate and whether there is other corroborating evidence that makes you believe that the photographs are more likely to be true or less likely. Are we agreed about that?
I'm just waiting for you to make your points, man.
That was my point, okay? That's the first point I wanted to make. So can we agree on that or not?
No, can we agree that it's no science? We're talking about natural science here. Claims must be observable, measurable, testable, and repeatable.
Well, photographs can be observed. They can be repeated.
Excuse me, Miles. Right. That is not in our direct experience, so it cannot be falsified or verified by the majority. Okay, so for me, the question is, you know, let's agree on the first premise. Are we questioning what the shape of the Earth actually is?
Yes, we are questioning that.
Okay, so for me, that would be the objective reality that we all share. It comes under the category of natural science, which has the criteria of observable, measurable, testable, and repeatable. Would you agree to that?
Yes, I would agree to that. I would also say that photographs are all of those things.
Okay, so
would you disagree?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm being told that. So let's break it down. Okay, right. I'm being told that these group of people are going to a vacuum of space, which is beyond our environment, but between this environment and that environment, there is no solid separation. So then, for me to look at the validity of the claims that these people are giving me and the images that they are producing, I will look at that and I'll say to myself, okay, let's have a look at reality. What do you understand about how we create pressure, pressurized systems, and what their relationship is with the opposing, i.e. a negative pressure system? And I find very quickly that in order for a pressurised system to exist within another medium, if it is a different medium from the one that I exist in, they must have a solid barrier between them. If they do not, they will equilibrate 100% of the time, observable, testable, repeatable by every single person alive. So when I look at that and then I look at the claim of these people telling me they're going to this vacuum, I know that it must be bollocks. Unless somebody can show me a practical example of how that is possible. Oh, and Miles has disappeared. Did anybody eject him there?
No, Dale, you're the only one with the facility to do that. He must have dropped out on his own behalf.
Okay, cool. So, you know, again, we're talking about how people just run forward with claims and like to use their sophism or their confirmation bias when we have to break down all the claims and their individual components and look at them. And as I say, somebody comes to me and says, here, by the way, I'm going in my rocket up to the vacuum of space. And I go, what's that? They say, oh, well, the gases and the layers of our atmosphere gradually thin out into this vacuum, and that's where I'm going and I'm visiting. And I'll say, all right, so, you know, how can that possibly be? Because everything in reality tells me that is virtually impossible, that is an absurd claim to make about reality, because that is not what I'm observing and testing. Neither is anybody else. As Sean pointed out earlier, we need the rubber around the metal wheel to hold that pressurised air in. You know? We need the metal can for our deodorants. We need the piping in the vac system for air conditioning. We need it to create any pressure.
Have you seen there's a 1980s film called Spaceballs? Takes the mick out of Star Wars, Mel Brooks film, and on there the planet is globe like Earth, but it's completely covered in a glass sphere, and the Empire is taking the mick out of Star Wars come, and they want to take the planet's atmosphere away. Well, the planet, this Hollywood's been showing you for years, it's in all sorts of stuff, flat Earth symbolism, but I digress. Right, anyway, it's there, and they come along with a vacuum and suck the atmosphere out the planet. Now they have to open the planet, it's enclosed in a glass case, and they get the codes to open up the little door, and they come and suck it out with of a vacuum. Even as a kid, I'm sitting there going, wait there, they're telling me space is a vacuum and Earth's not a vacuum. Won't our atmosphere get sucked away? And that frightened me, even as a child. We should be able to breathe. That should be being sucked away. Where's this magic barrier? It's impossible. As an engineer, it doesn't work.
No, of course not, mate. Exactly. As engineer and every practical layman alive, that's in any trade will testify to and verify 100% of the time. So you talk about evidences and proofs, there you go. Every single person alive can test these things and come to the exact same conclusion. That is how reality operates, regardless of anybody's bias.
I mean, if Miles wants to come sit in a box, I've got a few boxes I could probably seal up airtight and stick a vacuum on. If he wants to sit in the box while I activate the vacuum and see if he still survives inside the box, see if his atmosphere still stays there, then I'll gladly do that on YouTube, because I'm sure.
But they want to invoke a magical power that's fighting against it.
Yeah.
But then you run into anomalies like, well, wait a minute, this magical balance that you've got going on at the equator, what happens when you go north or south of the equator? There's going to have to be, less of that pull. If I start moving north or south, what do I get heavier? I mean,
well, they have actually tried saying,
can I buy gold in the equator and then take it into the northern hemisphere and get more money for my gold because it weighs more when I get there? I mean, it's fucking stupidity.
It is stupidity.
Nonsense.
That is actually what they have been claiming recently. There's some place in India or somewhere that because it's the depression, it's lower than most places on Earth. The people there grow slightly taller than everyone else because gravity was less. Well, it goes back to the dinosaur thing and the fake dinosaurs, and we know dinosaurs couldn't have walked the face of the Earth because they would have destroyed themselves under their own weight. That's proven, but now science is saying gravity was less back when dinosaurs walked on Earth. But so what you're saying then? Earth was this big spinning ball. It was a lot smaller 65 million years ago as well. So now they can't even, when something else they bring forward and try and prove their theory, then they're saying, well, no, actually, gravity was a lot less 65 million years ago. Well, how could they have proved that back then? That's
how could it be smaller? Where does the increase in mass come from?
Exactly.
Oh, that's right. It just appears from nowhere.
Exactly. Apparently dust. We go for an extra dust and dirt and it layers on top of layers and on top of layers. But you're also telling me in science that all matter comes from the Big Bang, yeah? All matter exists. Nothing can be destroyed. So all matter that ever was is already here, yeah? Like, so gold, for instance. Gold's rare. They're telling me gold's rare on Earth. It's rare throughout the whole of the universe. That's how it should be. But what they're saying is a complete fallacy. It's a complete fallacy. It does sit true with, if people look at stuff logically, it just doesn't sit true. How can the Earth have grown and grown and grown and grown and grown? And surely I'd see it growing all the time.
Yeah.
It's just nonsense. Tell me that? It's nonsense. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. No one I know dig tunnel underneath London and all sorts have never dug up a dinosaur. They don't account for curvature, by the way. Yeah. I've never accounted for curvature when I've built anything. It's just you learn it at college and at university, but when you actually get out there, it's never practically applied. And if you talk about practically applying it, people just figure at you like, whatever, mate. Because you just use, you know what I mean? But their argument's always, well, a pendulum always goes straight because of gravity's force to the centre of the Earth, which is it's
just all sophism, man. Is it again getting back to that point about the opposing systems? As we've just established, every practical man alive that deals with reality every single day can testify to that ridiculousness of that claim alone. So when we took this guy Miles, whatever his name is, was rattling on about images, don't let them rush off into that. Bring them back to their first premises and question them and go, right, before we even get your photographs, let's question the validity of the claim that this vacuum and this is where they're going to. Let's look at that first of all before we even entertain any of your images and see if that's an actual possibility. And we find that it's not a possibility. So therefore we know they're not going into some fucking vacuum in space. So therefore we know that their images are bollocks. They're going to have to be fabricated in some way. You know what I mean? Yeah. But they like to try and rush on and drag you into this already presumed or assumption being true that they are actually going there. No, let's slow it down a wee bit and look at that. that's obviously why Miles has dropped out and ran away, because he knows he's going to come up against a brick wall. Do you know what I mean?
Well, he can't prove that a vacuum and a non-vacuum can exist in the same environment. It's impossible. It doesn't happen. It's like saying, all right, then, so if an astronaut smashes the windows in an orbiter, he's fine. He's fine because atmosphere won't escape into the magical vacuum.
No, because there's still enough gravitational pull, because apparently they're falling round, there's still enough gravitational pull. Therefore, you know, the gravitation effect should still be on the atmosphere inside the fucking capsule. It shouldn't flush off into the fucking vacuum. Absolute bollocks.
It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. It's completely mad. They even suggested that, all right, the Earth, we'll take the sun out of the equation, the Earth's holding the moon, right? So then when's the point in space that NASA are saying, I know where they say it is, where space is, right? But they're saying that somewhere in between the moon and the Earth, all of a sudden there's no gravity. And you start floating around in space.
Yeah.
Well, if the Earth's holding the moon, with its gravity, then surely there'll be gravity all the way to the fucking moon. Their own model doesn't work. Their own model of the universe doesn't work, and that's why if you look at the universe, and I keep saying the same point, and then you look at what they're saying around you. Obviously, it's a lie. I can see it's a lie. I don't need special cameras. I know how water works. My kids know how water works. So I can empty a bath myself. I don't need to have a running tap left and right, you know, because if I do a cold tap, I can make it go clockwise, hot tap, anti-clockwise. But that could be rigged, obviously. But all this Coriolis effect, people need to get up and do the experiments like I have. And see, I used to think it went round a certain way up until a couple of years ago when I didn't even come across Flash Earth. And I wonder if this is actually true, what I've been told all my life, this Coriolis effect. And then I've seen that's not real. It's like, look at everything. People just get up and go, what these guys are telling you to disprove so-called flat earthers, just go up and do them experiments for yourself and you'll see. None of them work. They're not reproducible. They give completely inconsistent results. They even make their own comments. Oh, well, the air conditioning was on at this time, so that could have influenced it. Piss off. You can't reproduce your experiment ever in front of me. You couldn't do it in school. You couldn't do it in college. You couldn't do it. You know what I mean? You just can't do it.
And they want to turn it like we have to prove it. As I just say, when we look at practical reality every single day, like water being level and stuff, you know, the onus and the burden is on people making, you know, grandiose, absurd fucking claims that goes totally against what we observe and test it, you know, every single day in our reality. So it's up to them to fucking prove that. And you know, they have to have it in a practical way, not just evoking mystical powers and writing it in text or showing you a drawing or a cartoon. That doesn't constitute as a practical example, you know? That's part of the sophism.
I think that's what modern science has since the late 1800s has descended into. Just people, just because William Shatner, famous, he's having, I don't know what the guy's called, because I don't take notice of the Chinese scientist, grey hair, he's always banging on about Nibiru and alien stuff. They put him on TV all the time, and even William Shatner has said to people, he's arguing and said, look, what he's saying is in his head. He's telling you it's in his head, his theories. Just because he writes something on a piece of paper doesn't mean it's true. He can't show you that in reality. Yeah. Same as I can write stories. I see great stories every day. They're not real because they're not based in reality, and no one can show me proof of this. It's like me saying the Smurfs is real because Santa Claus is real. Yeah. Because that's like anything like that, because they've wrote about it and they can write it on a piece and imagine it in their head. It makes it real. It doesn't. You can start. I can. All right, then X plus Y. They start with a fallacy, so they say like 100, yeah, and then X plus Y equals 100. Now let's find out like what X plus Y is. X and Y can be whatever that guy wants it to be. You know what I mean? To make that 100, and this is how they're playing the whole world with this complete charade of, because I can imagine it. Yeah.
And it's not that. It's just as you've said there. You know, using language, using English, you can make us. I can say unicorns exist and they interact with dragonfly, butterfly, fucking hybrid. You know, I can use English to tell fantasy, or I can use it to tell facts and tell the truth. Mathematics is the exact same. That's why it's a formal science, because it's a language that only applies when it matches the observable reality. You know, because you can create fanciful fucking stories and prove your stories right using your mathematical language, but it does not mean that it is reality. And just as you rightly say, because it can be written down, doesn't mean to say it's true.
I think that's what people need to get off, and they just take everything. I used to do. We're all guilty of it. We all used to do it. We're all. My mother always used to bang on, oh, everyone's brainwashed, and everyone, oh, she's just crazy. Do you know what I mean? She's crazy, just a crazy lady.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She don't really know what's going on. And then you wake up and see how you're manipulated every day by your television. My kids, they have to do a mantra when they get into school every day, and it's a little regime for them. And as soon as they go into school and they're hammered with religion, it's not even a religious school, and they're hammered with religion, and straight away they're telling, like, I went to a Catholic school, yeah, so it was really contradictory, because they were telling me that I live on this globe and that this Darwin guy, by the way, was a racist, right? This Darwin guy, he just wanted to prove black people were still related to monkeys. I don't believe in Darwinism, and that's just ridiculous. We never found an in between, Anna. But anyway, I forgot what I was saying now. Jesus. Oh, I forgot what I was saying now. I went off on somewhere else and I lost myself.
It was good.
But yeah, I just think that people need to get up. We've all been brainwashed. At school, you get brainwashed, and you just sit around in your laziness and your technology, and you're looking at your phones. I stand out there with a camera looking at the sky. Now, this is how bad it is. 2 weeks ago, I was out in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, and all the kids are coming past. As I said, I live on top of shops, so I'm hanging out my window with an iPhone before I got an Nikon P900, with my phone at the sky, looking at the sky. I've got kids pointing at me, what are you doing? Calling me a pedo and that. And the next thing, there's a text gone round to the local schools. Some guy stopped kids and he's taking photos of them. I told these kids to look up at the time, because there was chemtrails being sprayed, and I like chemtrails because A, I think they're poisonous, but B, they show no curvature. Chemtrails show no curvature. So I showed people this, and even when people are watching me in their gardens with their lawnmowers, and I'm looking up at the sky, my neck cracked right back, but they're looking at me, looking up at the sky, but don't look up at the sky. So when you're thinking people can't even look at what I'm looking at, how do I get them to look at flat Earth? They can't see what's right in front of their face. It's amazing, because they're told, they're just walking around on their phones, and this authoritative figure on TV who I don't know this guy, I don't know what he says, chat shit. If I knew him as a kid, he could have been the bull crapper at school. You know what I mean? The guy tells all the stories, but you're presenting him in front of me and saying I should trust this guy. Never met. He's got no credence with me. Furthermore, half of them are selling me things. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's mad. Selling me a belief system. I've got to believe that gravity works, but I can't never prove it because I'm going to need this super massive object the size of a planet. Well, that's a belief system, and I was brought up in a Catholic system full of beliefs telling me that I come from Adam and Eve, but no, I don't. It's Darwinianism and a spinning ball.
Yeah, it's all contradictory.
I'm going to come to.
But the kids and stuff and everybody else has been slowly but surely entrained into this notion that the electrical devices is where they get every bit of information from.
Yeah.
And to ignore their actual common sense observations of reality. Just ignore that and take it through, this alternative media, which is bollocks. And that's why I encourage everybody, just as Sean was saying earlier, don't believe anybody. Get there and fucking look at reality and test it for yourself, But again, you're saying it's hard to get them to look up. That's why I said at the beginning, let's employ the same tactics. Let's use media, advertising, any way we can to get it into people's conscious mind and get them looking at it, As I say, we know the stages, the ridicule and the laughing is always going to be the first stage. But we're all thick-skinned enough now to get past that. We've seen it happen so many times, And again, people like yourself coming on and admitting your own experience, the same as us, laughing, ridiculing it, and then having the intellectual honesty to actually delve into it and look at it. I had to look at it. I went out of it. I thought it was a psyop, Del. I did think it was a psyop, and then I just couldn't stop. I go outside all the time. I can see because of how high I live up. I just the water, anything. Just looking at. I don't care about Einstein's math. Yeah, it doesn't take anything else into consideration, right? And sorry, I'm telling you, not any one of these guys in the chat here can go over his math. Not one
one of you, is going to disprove his math because you don't even know where to start. It's the same as our 3D modeler approaches something nowadays. I can do a 3D model of an iPhone, and the next guy could come along and do a 3D model of an iPhone, and they could be the same amount of polygons made from the same wireframe. They will be different. I get a 10,000 3D modelers to make the same phone in the same 3D modeling program, and you will have 10,000 different ways of doing that model. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking so.
The difference with that model is that it translates into actual reality.
Yeah, it translates into actual reality, but they're coming out with these models that ain't repeatable to anyone. Anyone. There's I can't prove anything they've told me. Can't prove it. It doesn't matter that I can't go into space. I can't see curvature. You give me a calculation, and it doesn't work on your own photos. It doesn't work.
That's it. They give you that.
Telling me to disbelieve my eyes, and oh no, it's because of refraction, and oh no, after that, even after I've discounted refraction, then I'm being told, oh no, it's an optical illusion. Oh, again, we're back to magic. We're back to magic.
It's sophism, man. It's just trying to get people to deny their own critical common sense experience, to doubt it, to deny it, even to the point where people will fight against it, which is, really eye-opening. That's a product of serious cult programming, where people are actually defending an illusion, and disregarding their own common sense experience every day.
Well, I see fake footage of ISS through telescopes, blatant 3D Studio Max renders. I pretty much lived in a computer world for about 5 years. I was proper stuck in games all the time. I lived in computer game worlds. And to tell me I'm on a globe planet, but I live in computer game worlds, and the horizon of computer game world horizon is the same as our horizon stays at your eye level, and it's just the programming that's going. But they're even being shown in their own entertainment every day on the films that they watch. They're showing you straight or flat horizons all the time. But because some guy is climbing up a building with a bendy GoPro camera on YouTube, and then they're going to discount all the other footage that are being shown all the time in their own eyes and take it for a fisheye lens. It's like, do you know what a fisheye lens is? If you don't know what a fisheye lens is, you've got no place even commenting on the curvature of the fucking planet.
That's it. They've not even got the ability to discern when they see these images of the GoPro, things of somebody, up a mountain or even on the ground, and you say, we'll complete the circle, and see how preposterous it actually is, and you can't, it doesn't matter when you're showing the GoPro, it doesn't matter what altitude, the curve is always going to keep staying the same, so.
It's mad, isn't it?
But I think that's part of the awareness that I think, I might get a wee bit active in. Maybe some flyers is a good way of showing. Just a simple thing like that, 2 images, GoPro, wide angle lens, just on a poster, and show people, and it's then it will start to sink in as well. Any of these kind of active, that's the beauty of it, that there's so many different people now who will come up with their own wee individual creative ways of putting a message out there. Just like I've said, make a wee A4 bit of paper with 2 images, a GoPro lens and a wide angle lens, and just leave it somewhere. And I think that a lot of that confuses people because they do see these contradictory images. But that's my whole purpose of trying to highlight people. See, let's just ignore images. That's why I've done the whole Nessie thing. And just like the guy Miles that was on earlier, and just as you said, I can get 500 people to all testify that unicorns are real, and we can produce never-ending images of unicorns or Nessie. So by that very same logic, that should be counted as actual proof of their true existence. So they can't pick and choose and say, no, but these images are better than the images. You can't do that. You can't do that.
I was trying to explain to my family. One of my cousins was saying, well, of course it's round. They keep giving you pictures of it being round. And I was explaining the fake moon landings, and you can see that, you've seen it where they've blacked out all the windows in the space shuttle and they were still above the Earth, and that's the round image you get of the planet. And I'm saying, look, my table in front of me is square, but because I take a load of little pictures of it and put it on a round image does not make my table round. And that's what you're telling me. That's what you're telling me, because someone's put an image on something round, and then to tell me it's a pear shape and keep giving me round images is just ridiculous.
Totally illogical.
Like you say, you can't go into space. No one's been up there. They're now telling you there's these Van Allen belts that they can't get through to get to Mars. So they obviously never went to the moon. So people come and say they went to the moon. Well, they never went to the moon because they're telling you now they never went to the moon. They've got no telemetry. They've never been above 300,000 feet up. That's it, simple.
It's the anomalies in their pictures as well. You know, the things that they try and claim as photographs. And it was interesting you talking about it because I watched a video by Karen B, who has been on before. She's got her own channel and she'd compiled a kind of flat earth video. It was really good to watch. It was quite entertaining as well. And she's pointing out, I'm sure it's that video where she's showing the shadows reaching the horizon point on the moon and stuff, and you know, just ridiculous nonsense like that are so contradictory to the claims that they actually made. And as I say, the more that time goes on, the more people that are curious and looking into it, everybody's going to start spotting things that somebody else never seen. So it's great that other people need to get active, not just activism, i.e. going out into the street. Be active in analysing this content, highlighting flaws in it, you know, because I'm sure, you know, things that have been overlooked, somebody else new coming in will see it, you know, because people who are new have got they've got enthusiasm, they're right at that first moment where they want to tear into it, which is great.
Yeah, they're hungry.
Right, they're hungry. So people listen.
I think just make a point there, Dal. I think you know, it might be good for you because I think a lot of people might feel intimidated by what you've done in a kind of way because you've gone to universities, and I think there might be a few people thinking, well, you know, what can I do to match that or to emulate that? And I think it's a point to make that you don't have to emulate that and you don't have to go that far. And you know, it takes a lot of confidence to go and do what you've done, but you know, you've been in it for a long time from the word go, saying the same thing. But I think it's important for people to realise any small bit of activism is just as important as going to university and speaking to these people, i.e. the video you made with the sign, the non-verbal silent message, you know, that's very, you know, there's two contrasts there. There's a sign on the street and there's actually going to the universities and speaking to graduates, which I feel might intimidate people from actually getting up thinking, what can I do then to do that? But you know, when people look at the sign, there was a lot of interest in the sign. A lot of people took note. You've seen people on the phones, you know, literally in live time checking out Flat Earth. So, you know, from one extreme to the other, there's somewhere within that spectrum that anyone can play a part. And I think it's important to reiterate that.
Just telling family and just starting with telling family and friends and not getting annoyed with it and angry with them. They won't see your view.
Yeah, sorry for talking over you, mate, but I think it's important. I've heard so many people saying, oh, I can't wake my family and friends up, I'm frustrated, it's getting to me. If that's the wrong way to go about it, if you've got frustration or anger, well, you shouldn't be delivering a message, or you shouldn't be trying to wake people up. You've got to get really comfortable and actually cool with it yourself, where there's no need, you're not trying to tell someone, look, it's flat, because I'm not saying it's flat. You know what I mean? I'm saying, oh, we live on a flat earth. We're saying, hang on, we're questioning, where's this curve? Where's this curve we've been taught? We're questioning them claims, and we're looking at the reality, what's in front of us. But I think it's important for people not to get frustrated with people, you know. I seen a video a couple of days ago by someone, I'm not sure whether you want me to mention the names and all that, but, you know, there was a lot of frustration and anger and confusion as he was delivering his message. You know, credit for him trying, but then the recipient of the message got a little bit frustrated with that and, you know, pushed them away and then started threatening. And that's a natural reaction. You know, I would do that if I was on the street, if someone was forcing it onto me, like, you just want to stop them. So in my experience, you know, because I'm really comfortable with it and I'm not trying to make a fool out of nobody and I'm not trying to change anyone's mind, I'm just asking them to look at something, you know, the more receptive to me, because, you know, I can put it in a way like, you know, I got a text off my mate there and he was saying this and I was having a look at it, and what do you think? Can you, you know, I'm not challenging them, I'm not like trying to make them look like a fool, where the minute they're going to defend, because everyone defends their own stance, and I think it's important that people don't get frustrated or angry with trying to give it out.
That's a valid point. It's not to intimidate people, because people will be threatened if they think you're just trying to push something onto them. You have to have that ability to communicate with people in a questioning way, which is why, you know, the Socratic method, the way I done it, which was just a natural formulation of how, you know, I went about it. But that's another great point as well. People thinking that they have to emulate what I've done is totally the wrong way to think about it. As I said, you know, every aspect counts. Everybody has something to offer. As I was saying about Karen's video, when she points out certain anomalies with the images from the moon and stuff, you know, that stuff's invaluable. You could use something like that and incite a conversation with people to say, you know how, you know, the moon stuff, well, look at this, somebody's pointed this out to me and I've got some questions about it. What do you think? Just as Sean said, the whole thing is to Try not be, if you're trying to push and convince and you're getting aggressive and angry, then you're not comfortable in the situation, you're not comfortable with the subject in full. And if you're having that, then you're going about it the wrong way, and you should just walk away, go away, gather your thoughts, try a different method. Eventually you'll find your approach, you'll find what works for you.
I wish I'd have known that at the beginning, because I did get quite frustrated, but now I've learned to reel back, and I've got more of a thick skin. I'm more prepared for people to obviously ridicule me or not seem, or not even look at the evidence. What I have with, they can show me anything they want off the internet, but I'm not allowed to show them any evidence off the internet. I've got to physically have it in my hand, my own, that I've done myself. So that got a bit frustrating at the beginning, but now I have got my own physical evidence, so I can say, boom, there it is. That's
it. It's discernment, and that's a nonsense you hear about. Oh, YouTuber, you can't get it. If I can show somebody how to play an E chord and a G chord and an F chord through the internet, by that logic means then people shouldn't take it because it's on the internet. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. It's about discernment between you, looking at things and addressing it yourself to see if it is actually true, what anybody's telling you. Mm-hmm. So, Speedy, how are you? Speedy McFast.
I'm going to drop out now anyway, Dale. I'll drop out and give someone else a chance. It's been nice talking to you.
You too, bud. On and share.
No problem.
Take it easy. Speedy McFast, how are you?
Hey, Dale. Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Thanks, man. You sound exactly like, who was it? What's that? Fly Earth Liberation Movement.
No, different person. I can't get my head around why this is so violently opposed. Every time you question it to regular people, you just get shot down with fictitious bullplop, Yeah,
seems to be part of the conditioned response, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's there, it's all through the whole thing, that conditioned response.
It's mad. I mean, I've lost a few friends because of it, and I mean like long-term friends. I'm 33 now. Let's not jump on that, eh?
Yeah.
But it's crazy. I don't understand why people can't just open their eyes and see what's in front of them.
No.
I said in the chat earlier, one of the points you made a few weeks back about the Isle of Man being visible from near Blackpool shoreline. I actually live near Blackpool, able to see the Isle of Man since last summer because the weather's not been right. But I know you can see it. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yep.
And if you follow the maths on the size of the ball we are and how much curve there should be over this alleged curve, it shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
It should be 2,500 feet below your eye line, and the highest point it's only 2,000 feet high. So how can I see the coast from the coast?
Magic refraction and illusions and mirages, and the water is curved, my man. The water is curved. Believe us. Yeah. Look at my image.
And all you get is gravity and Coriolis and atmospheric, like you say, atmospheric refraction or diffraction or whatever you want to call it. It's madness.
Back to your point of why people violently oppose it, I think it just depends on how you instigate the initial conversation with them about how aggressive or violently opposing they're going to be, especially if they feel threatened, like here's somebody just trying to tell me something, because I'm a bit like that as well. Don't just bark something at me, have a bit of thought into it and deliver it to me in a way where it's palatable. If anybody comes up just dictating to me, I'm going to be like, on the defensive right away. So it's all about the approach as far as I'm concerned. But at the same time, you will still have those people who, it doesn't matter how you approach them, you will get that kind of reaction. But that's just part of what you need to deal with. But for me, they're a minority,
Yeah, that's your point.
Yeah, there's loads of ways, man, but that's the point. People don't have to feel intimidated by thinking that they have to upstage or better what I've done or anybody else has done. Really, you need to get that idea of competition out your mind. If people are getting involved in that kind of competitive idea, don't get me wrong, a wee bit of that kind of competition and mindset would be healthy for it because it would push people to achieve new things, but not to take it as actual something meaningful like, I'm the next best thing and I'm now popular, and I'm not interested in any of that. Everybody's got something to offer,
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
One thing I've been looking at is the Coriolis effect and how to kind of disprove or prove it to be accurate. And it's very difficult because you fact from books that obviously we can't say are true. But if you look at the different the two sides of the argument, the first globalist side is that the spin of the Earth creates on the equator two different vortexes that rotate in opposite directions. But if you say in a swimming pool, run your hand through the water, you get these two vortexes or vortices off your hand going in opposite directions. You know, like mini whirlpools either side of your hand. So there's a theory that obviously we don't know what the sun and the moon are, but I like the theory of it being some sort of electromagnetic force, which if you were to run that across a large body of water, would that not bring about the effect of the two vortexes going in opposite directions, like running your hand through a body of water?
I can foresee that. I can imagine something like that. For me, I always come back to that. It seems that everything seems to be mechanical. There'll be some mechanical explanation.
Yeah, definitely.
If we can figure it out, we will be able to model it and show it, because anything else that we've discovered about reality, we've had that capability to be able to achieve. When it comes to the globe model, they can't achieve any of that. They can only achieve, plastic toys and computer generated things. It's never anything that's actual, the elements of reality that we are in. I don't claim to make an internal combustion engine and then show you a plastic toy and claim that as, a representation. That has to be comprised of what I say it is, the elements that make it up. And if I can't scale it and show how it works in principle, I don't get any funding to go any further than that. It would just be laughed at and ignored, So,
yeah, anyway, love what you do, Del. Keep it up, and speak to you again.
Thanks very much, Speedy. I don't know if you want to disclose your name, but I'll just call you Speedy.
Yeah, sure, it's Thomas.
Thomas, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming on, mate. Appreciate it.
No worries. See you again soon, Del. Take care.
Take it easy, buddy.
Cheers, mate.
So, some good points, mate. You've made some valid points there, Sean, in regards to, that setting the bar up for yourself and feeling intimidated by it.
People finding their level in it,
Yeah. Marshall, is anybody else coming?
I've had one further request from chat. If they want to mail to nocurve@gmx.com, but I think we've run on today, Del. I mean, what do you want to do? You want me to continue?
Nah, I need to go to the toilet and stuff like that, have a piss and take a dug a walk. I just intended to highlight the sophism, and obviously that's been done. We've had a so-called globe believer, and who offered nothing again. And it's a common theme with these chaps that, they're ignorant, they're rude, they come in with a sophist stance and they try and twist things. So for me, it's a success again to highlight the nonsense of that globe cult religion, and nobody who can represent it or offer anything that would change my mind or, convince me that it is actually a sphere, which, by the way, I don't care if it is a sphere. I really do not care. If it's a sphere, it's a sphere. Just provide proof that it is. They want to make out that it's like we don't want to believe in the globe. We don't want the globe to be true. I could not give a shit if it was a globe. If it is what it is, fine.
Exactly.
But they want to forget that, mate.
Yeah, the very shallow arguments today, though, that they've come with, certainly, there's nothing new there. There's all old school stuff, and they're doing is just trying to derail and agitate and disrupt. That's about all we've had there.
That's it. And that for me is the antics of a cult, of charlatans desperately trying to, keep their nonsense going in order to deceive people. It's a willful act, as far as I'm concerned, because you do not meet real people who behave like that.
Yeah.
That's willingly ignorant and willingly dismissive and arrogant.
Yeah.
Right. Well, listen, guys, I'll probably just wrap it up there and maybe have a wee look and chat.
Yeah, listen, I'll drop out and let you have a little chat with them out at the chat. And thanks for having us on. Appreciate that.
Anytime, man. You're welcome. People check Mindfulness out. I'm going to share a couple of your activism videos, mate, if you don't mind. I'll upload them onto my channel. And
appreciate that.
Hopefully people give you support and take some inspiration from it.
Yeah, I've got some plans for next week to get some more stuff going, some good stuff. So, good luck to everybody, and, get out there and be a little bit more active. Take care.
Take it easy, man. Thanks for coming.
Cheers. Thanks. Cheers, Marshall. Thanks very much, mate.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Take it easy, mate. So, anybody have anything to say in chat? I'll go right to the bottom, and my attention's here. If anybody's got any points they want to make, I'll give it 5 minutes. But I thank you all anyway for showing up again, taking part. And I'll thank Jonah Worms. Was Magumba or Marty here as well, Marshall?
Yeah, he was about earlier.
Nice one. Thanks to them as well.
So apologise to anybody that's asking for the link. Now, you've come in a little bit late today, dude. We've been here for a few hours and we're a bit done. I'm thinking we're probably back on Saturday, aren't we?
Yeah, we'll be back on Saturday. I'm going to keep it up as long as, people are coming, and that's what I'm seeing happening. So that was what the platform being opened for the live events was for. It was Saturday, especially for people just to come on and let us know they're there and have their say. As long as it's being used for that, I'll keep it going. And it's been a success with new faces coming, and it's great. It gives me enthusiasm and hope that we can get somewhere with it. So I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody that comes forward and everybody who came on the day, including Miles, for at least displaying how the globe cult mentality works, and its display of sophism. So I can only appreciate you for that. cheers everybody in chat. I'm not going to be able to get through everybody's names, but I appreciate it. So thanks again, Marshall. Cheers, bud.
Cheers, man.